Welcome back to What She Said Sports. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna take the shirt off. Welcome back to What She Said Sports. All right, so planned a wonderful show for you tonight. I kind of gave you a preview as to what we were going to discuss. Um, we're going to examine the video, the welcome call from Cleveland to Dylan Gabriel, because people have raised concerns about the condescending tone, I am people, of the call from the Cleveland Browns. The call was led by the general manager and then the coach, and the tone, the welcoming was totally different. It seems to me that Cleveland is keeping up the same entitled narrative. And what I mean by that is, while they're not saying he's entitled, they're treating him as if he's expecting something. So they're essentially warning him, okay, we're going to get to work together, yada, yada, yada. Come on in, put you, we didn't promise nothing. Totally different from Dylan Gabriel. They treated Shedeur as if they were taking him in. Yesterday, I said they treated him like he was a stray with fleas, and they have absolutely no choice but to let him in the house. But instead, he's an elite talent. Should have actually been the first pick of the draft. We talked about how, just like the Heisman, there were people on the stage to block Shedeur. Same thing with the number one pick in the draft. And I went back and reviewed the research I had already done, and I wanted to compare some other QBs. Regardless of who I put in at 3, 4, and 5, Cam Ward was 1 and Shedeur Sanders was 2. And in some, Shedeur Sanders was 1. So for the league to treat Shedeur as if he's the table scraps that they threw to slaves, the things that they didn't want, that's how the league is treating Shedeur. That's how they treated him in the draft. And see, there's an update today about the situation where Shedeur's information was leaked. I don't know how many people are talking about it, but for the few that are talking about it, meaning media, this is ugly for the NFL. I said this would happen. The longer they keep playing this game with Shedeur Sanders, the truth was going to come out. So what happened first? The prank, the so-called prank, that happened first. Then they tried to say, oh, that happens to everybody. No. Then what happened? Oh, it came from the Falcons organization. It came from the defensive coordinator. And then they tried to excuse it away again by saying what? His son accidentally got a hold of Shedeur's phone number from his father's work device. Now, y'all know, if you ever work from home or you were issued a work device, regardless of what your environment is, you could be the meter maid. You have a work device. You can't let anybody just have access to it, play with it, or etc. So they tried to excuse it away. Then when it came out that Shedeur is the only person who those people that you saw on the screen that they pranked, it was like, oh, well, it was an accident and not a lot of people saw it. It's just a contained situation where an overgrown child saw his father's device and wrote down Shedeur Sanders' number. I specifically remember hearing them say he wrote it down. And yesterday, what did we talk about? We talked about the script that the young man was reading from, and it was way more than a phone number. So who wrote something down? Those are questions that need to be asked. Did he write it down? Because what did I say? Young people don't write down anything for the most part. They film it just like they put it on social media, or they screenshot it. They don't just go write it down. They probably use the Notes app more than anybody. You'll tell them something and they're like, wait, open the Notes app, put it in there. Or they'll just text the number. Once they screenshot it, they'll send a screenshot, or they'll text it if they remembered it or if they recorded it. But it's rare for a young person to just write things down like that, especially when they're making pranks. Why would he write it down when it's faster for him just to click, click, and text to old buddy? We talked about how there's a connection in this video with Ole Miss, the same school Jackson Dart went to. Jackson Dart is the quarterback taken by the Giants, the organization that is problematic for the way that they conduct work, for the defamatory statements, 2 of 3 coming from that organization. And now they're backing away from their disastrous interview lies because they're being disproven. I went and looked. I knew Shedeur had private meetings. I remember distinctly that Cleveland wanted to meet with Shedeur and Travis for dinner. I said it right here on camera. And that's what happened. And nothing negative came of it. Nothing negative came of that. And Cleveland had met with Shedeur extensively. So why didn't Cleveland take Jalen Milroe that they also met with? Why didn't they take Travis Hunter, generational talent? Why did they not take Shedeur? They took Dylan Gabriel. They met with him as well. But why did they choose him over them? Is it because Travis Hunter is a starter and maybe they don't have room for a starter? Is it because Shedeur is QB1 and that's not what they were looking for? That they were really looking for the 94th pick in the draft. And that's why they drafted Dylan. So I'm going to let them have that. But what I'm not going to let them have is the very condescending tone that they used in Shedeur's welcome meeting and the very happy, I'm excited to see you tone that they had with Dylan Gabriel. And then there's the media on the ground in Cleveland. There's a few podcasters. One is upset because he's tired of seeing everything that Shedeur does. I suggest he log out or find something else to watch. That means you don't know that Shedeur's been famous since he was 5 or 4 years old. So you're going to see him. If you don't want to see him, cover your eyes or stay inside and log off your device. But see, there's a tinge of negativity from the media, just like overall with the NFL draft, there was negativity, right? We just didn't know it was coming from the NFL. But see, now we do. Now we know the NFL was in on it. And every day they tell more. They don't even tell us. Sometimes they tell us, like Boomer Esiason, and then sometimes it comes out. So what has happened lately? So now the NFL has fined Jeff Ulbrich, right? Fined him $100,000, which is a mere slap on the wrist. And now I know why. And they fined the Falcons organization $250,000, which again, for an organization that makes approximately $500 million to $600 million, that's a slap on the wrist, and they don't view it as a serious incident because it's Shedeur. So what happened now? The young man, Ulbrich, the dad, he was on Good Morning America. I'm like, now why is he on Good Morning America? Why you didn't have Shedeur on him asking him how he felt about it? Why you have the culprit on Good Morning America? Then this afternoon, about maybe 5 o'clock, in the business, nobody's paying attention. People getting in their cars, going home, logging out. Guess what comes out? That Shedeur's number, after the NFL fined the Falcons and the Falcons fined Ulbrich, the NFL leaked the number. Shedeur's number was put in an email that says Shedeur's phone number, Shedeur's new phone number, or Shedeur's phone number, on a distribution list with 2,000 people, including the equipment managers. So everybody except for the landscaping crew got Shedeur's phone number. All 32 teams received Shedeur's phone number, which they should say inadvertently because in business, there's a need to know list. Did all 2,000 people need a draft prospect's phone number? And why was it only Shedeur's? So here's what has happened. The NFL itself, who fined the Falcons and who fined the Falcons fined Ulbrich, they are the culprit. They set up the opportunity for somebody to get his number. Now, out of 2,000 people getting his number with no other context, and it was Shedeur's draft-only phone that they didn't know he had. They thought it was his personal number. They mad because he don't come to the draft. Why? So you can pull the prank with the microphone in his face and we all see it? So the league created the opportunity for Shedeur's number to be in the hands of 2,000 people. That's 32 NFL teams and various people that work for them that have nothing to do with the draft. They were like, oh, it went out on a transaction report called the waiver wire. Why would Shedeur be on an email about the waiver wire? Because you're going to cut him? They're playing in this young man's face. And the NFL is savage and not in a good way. It can't be trusted because they did this dog and pony show about, oh, it was an accident. That's why they covered for the Ubrich, because they know they did it. That's why they only slapped him on the wrist for $100,000. And I'm sure they probably got some death threats because the city of Atlanta is not happy with these people. But the league sent out his number in an email that just said Shedeur new phone number to 2,000 people. That was not an accident, because it was not an accident that it accidentally ended up in the hands of the defensive coordinator. Actually, he was on the list. So was everybody else. That was just a way to get the number to somebody. They planned this. Who gonna find the NFL now that the NFL has found the Falcons? And how dirty is it of them? You see what lengths they'll go to pretend and to cover up. That's what I'm telling y'all. That's what this exposed. The lengths that they go through to cover up the dirt that they do. You're going to find the Falcons, slap this man on the wrist, but you did it, and you knew you did it. You knew before you came to the media with the Falcons making that. So you essentially made the Falcons take responsibility for something you did because you covering your tracks that you would have won. That put his number out there, and you didn't accidentally do it. If you wanted to accidentally get Shedeur number out there, you would have accidentally emailed two people. You would have one would be in the 2 line and one would be in the CC line, and you'd be like, oh, I was trying to get something done. No, and then he was on a waiver wire transaction. So basically, y'all was playing in the office talking about this. And instead of owning up to it, you put it on the Falcons. Why? Because he worked for the Falcons where Coach Prime worked. It's not a coincidence. Y'all had decided what you was going to do. You probably letting him go. You was going to let him go undrafted. You was going to let him go undrafted. Then you was going to pick him up, and then you was going to cut him. That's what you was going to do. And you can't be trusted because you couldn't even be honest. If it was a mistake, why not be honest? Because you know that young man with that Ole Miss sweatshirt was not there by happenstance. Just like Emmanuel Acho tried to rub Deion Sanders Jr.'s face into the fact. I went back and read it again that Jackson Dart gonna be the number 2 draft pick. How he know that? Because he's an insider, and they all knew. They all knew. The NFL created the opportunity by issuing Shedeur's information to 2,000 people. They not only tried to cover their tracks by blaming the Falcons, they lied to the media and said, oh, only a few people had access to his number. That was them instantly covering their tracks, that they gave his number to 2,000 people. So who's going to find the NFL? There was no context outside of this Shedeur Sanders' new number. That's all you typed. That's how I know you was up to no good. You should at least have some copy and paste some other information and had that in the middle. And then he happened to see that email. He took a quick glance at that email and wrote the number down when it would have been faster to screenshot it or to take a photo of it and text it to somebody or quickly look at it as fast as young people type. He could have looked at that and went, y'all lying all the way around. And now the truth is coming out every day. So that's why the media didn't want to talk about it. There's some takeaways from Shedeur's draft. Additional takeaways. I told y'all yesterday, the NFL owners is a group of billionaires that are incestuous, meaning excessively close, which means they knew Shedeur would sit round after round after round after they knew his information was shared, and only his information was shared to a waiver wire transaction report to 2,000 people. 2,000 people, including the equipment managers, do not need a waiver wire report. And he doesn't even work for them at the time. They was playing with this young man. They were talking about what they were going to do, which tells you why the young man, the little script he was reading from, contained the phrase, "You're going to have to wait a little longer." How the hell did he know he was going to have to wait a little longer? He a random kid, ain't he? How the hell he knew? I mean, yeah, you could know the Saints getting ready to pick and you like, oh, I'm going to call Shedeur because I got 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. But how did you know that he wouldn't get drafted in that spot? Because y'all been talking about it. And they silly and entitled and recorded it. So they wanted to get in on the fun and make a mockery of Shedeur like the adults that are older than them, because they all adults were doing. They been talking about what they were going to do to Shedeur. That's why Emmanuel Acho tried to rub Deion Sanders Jr.'s face in it about Jackson Dart. And that is why the young man sitting there was wearing an Ole Miss sweatshirt that the school Jackson Dart went to. But see, Jackson Dart not the only QB to come out of Ole Miss. I told y'all it was Eli Manning. I said, okay, they got a connection. They got a pipeline running from Ole Miss to the Giants for the QBs. So I think it's 4. Somebody, Charlie Connerly, Archie Manning, the senior Archie Manning, Eli Manning, and Jackson Dart, who was welcomed to the league by one of the Mannings. This was a plot. The call was a subplot. Nobody sat up there and said, you know what, go look in your daddy's device and get him in trouble and give me Shedeur number. You know what they did? They were like, yeah, Shedeur number been leaked. I don't know why on earth why somebody would send out an email to everybody about his phone number, and guess who went and looked? Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe he printed out the email and that's what the young man was reading from. Maybe he printed out the plot and that's what the young man was printing from. We don't know, because we probably will never get to that paper. But you don't need it. See, all you need is the connection. The connection. The NFL leaked his number to 2,000 people and lied about it and pretended, played charades and lied and said it was the Falcons to cover their track, made the Falcons take the blame, made Aldridge take the blame. He on, to the point, it's so extreme, he on Good Morning America talking about it. How you think that came about? Somebody from the Falcons side, the NFL side, set that up so he could go and say, yeah, I should have did better. All along, they hadn't told us yet that the NFL shared his number and only his number. That's why it was only one person that they were fined for. And they lied and said only a few people had it. No. The number of breaches, which is the number of records that are breached and how widespread it is. And remember, this happened. They committed identity theft in front of 7 million people. So the question is, who's going to hold the NFL accountable? The one that called them stupid? Probably not. If anything, his billionaire friend probably get ready to buy the Saints. We are living in times where accountability is just not there. And the NFL has gotten away with it so long that y'all probably barely heard about this today. This is huge. This is just as huge as finding out that was the son in the video where the subplot occurred. And it's also just as huge that nobody's talking about the fact that that young man got on an Ole Miss sweatshirt. It has made the connection to the fact that they knew they were taking Jackson Dart, which is why they waited until the Pittsburgh Steelers went past Shedeur, and then they traded up and got Dart. I don't care if you wanted Dart, but you defamed Shedeur Sanders so you could justify getting Dart. You could have wanted Dart because Arch Manning coming and I want to get him. See, I think because the GM's job is on the line, and they didn't want Shedeur. They wanted the Ole Miss connection to continue. They made up the story about Shedeur so the owners could back away from him. But I'm going to just go ahead on and say it now. They cannot be trusted because they are the ones who chose to believe the lie in face of the truth. Remember we said yesterday and we read that document that anonymous coach put out there? What did I ask y'all? Why would the NFL allow the media and these anonymous coaches to degrade and defame their investment in somebody's skill set? Because they was in on it. The owners can distance themselves away and fire the commissioner and say, okay, he did this. We out. But remember what Boomer Esiason told us. They were the reasons that said, take this entitled man off the board. They repeated exactly what was said about Shedeur. And it came from 2 out of 3 sources. Came from the Ole Miss connection with the Giants. Jackson Dart wearing his hat backwards could have actually been trolling Shedeur to say he's going to be Shedeur. I never saw Shedeur going to the Giants. I never saw it. So I don't even understand why the charades in the dog and pony show, because you want Jackson Dart at 25. Shedeur was never going 25. But that's why they drafted him after that. So you don't go, oh, okay. This whole thing is a farce. And the sad part is Cleveland is continuing it. And that's what I want to talk about today. The call itself is problematic. Some people point out in the press conference, they shook his hand, etc. The media seems to be going in by saying things like, Shedeur's been doing everything right since he got to Cleveland. And there are people in the comment section handing their butts to them. I didn't have to say anything. Deion Sanders Jr. is setting the record straight, saying that they lied, that Shedeur Sanders, when they said he was unprepared. Every lie that they're told is unraveling and being exposed. Who is going to be accountable? It's not good enough to fire the commissioner because they're not going to do it. I told you how they get down. You see, they try to protect Obridge, and now you know why. Because they scapegoated him too. Yeah, he was definitely wrong. He probably in on it like the rest of them. It's not a coincidence Coach Prime played for the Falcons, and they was trying to separate Shedeur from his father, and they still are asking him questions about his relationship with his father while he's in Cleveland, and he's constantly having to say, I'm going to always be his son. My dad is my dad, and I'm me. But I appreciate what he did for me. That's what he was supposed to do. Why is he answering questions about that? So why you over here trying to make his life hell in Cleveland, treating him like he table scraps? You out here being exposed every day. You ain't gonna even be able to keep up because who knows what's coming out next. All these anonymous sources that you let help create this situation, the connection to Jackson Dart and Ole Miss and the Giants and the Ole Miss pipeline for QBs, and they all involve the Mannings. We might need to start looking at the Mannings a different way because they said nothing. And I saw a video today with Coach Prime, and one of the Mannings looked like Peyton. And Shedeur, they were at a NFL stadium, or maybe something belonging to the NFL practice facility. And the video was Shedeur throwing passes to Coach Prime or Peyton. This kid grew up around them, despite what that anonymous person said. And supposedly, that was supposed to be debunked before the draft, but it wasn't. That's exactly what was used in the draft. People were upset that it came out days before the draft. So everybody's upset that they ran around and defamed Shedeur, but then nobody do nothing about it, but get mad about it. So now Travis Kelce slams the commentary. Why you didn't say nothing before the draft? Why you didn't say nothing during the draft? Why you didn't say nothing after the draft? Because you probably know that's what the owners wanted to do. See, everybody want to come out now when the plot to stop the majority of Black starting QBs was foiled. Everybody want to talk about it now. Now everybody else should do a side. Now the truth is coming out. I'm glad he comes from a good family. I'm glad he has a tight-knit circle of support. He actually has a good family and a vast support system. Who is going to hold these people accountable for the farce that they pulled off during that draft? And somebody better tell Cleveland to chill out before we all end up in Cleveland. Acting like he's table scraps when he's the best QB out here because you didn't want him to tip the majority. So you put him on the most crowded team out there and you try to make it seem like it's because his dad has something to say when everybody else's dad had something to say. When in fact, the rules that hasn't come out yet is this was about not having majority black QB1s. That's why he was supposed to go to QB2. I saw the headline again. Pittsburgh advised to draft Shedeur. Mike Tomlin, no point drafting Shedeur because he would just be QB2 behind Aaron Rodgers. He too good for that. Mike Tomlin didn't have one negative thing to say about Shedeur. But when it was critical and it was on the clock, he should have manned up. So let's listen to this video. We're going to listen to Shedeur. I put it so you could hear who you could see who was talking. And then we're going to go into Dillon Gabriel. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, I know it's been a long weekend. We're going to take you off the work here, all right, brother?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Hey, listen, you got to come in, you got to work hard, you got to earn your job, earn your keep. And it doesn't matter where you're taking, it matters what you do from this point forward, all right? Talented, we spent a lot of time with you, you're a good kid. Let's get ready to go to work and improve all we're past the week. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, I got a coach here right now.
Yo. What's up, coach?
Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to see you.
Remember I told you the Lord works in mysterious ways, right?
No, for sure.
It's an opportunity, we're going to get to work together, okay, buddy?
Woo! It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
So Shedeur was gracious. He was kind throughout the entire process. Okay. And that's how he was. He actually talked about his process on his own podcast. There were no crazy questions or anything like that. I just got the elephant out the room and the things that they said about me taking sacks, having a weak arm. You know, every week they were putting out something new. He just spoke to the bullet points and that was it. There were articles that were saying that the people that are going around saying he had the worst interviews ever never said what teams had good interviews. They were trying to sell their point. They were trying to drive their point home. That's basically what we read yesterday when I highlighted the sections and he said things like Shedeur's going to have a culture shock of what an actual NFL locker room is like. When I saw that video with Shedeur throwing to Peyton and Coach Prime, he grew up around those people. And to think if the Mannings knew that the goal was to get Dart in at all costs, even sacrificing Shedeur, and they knew him. That Ole Miss connection is the smoking gun. Because the media refuses to act like they see it. All they talk about is where the number came from, and they can't even do that now. Stories are being print. Okay, the NFL looks to have been covering their tracks. What else they covering? That instead of doing race norming policies with payments for head injuries, they doing it with the NFL draft when it comes to black QBs. Maybe that's the secret that they're hiding. That they're still using slavery mentality to ostracize black QBs and put obstacles in their way, all the while rolling out the red carpet for lesser talented QBs who are white. Was Dillon Gabriel taken because he's not white? The other two quarterbacks and Deshaun Watson is black, but he's injured. But there's Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco's white. So did they not want Shedeur because it'd be 2-2? Or did they not want Shedeur to be the fourth spot because chances are he going to beat out 40-year-old Flacco? Chances are he going to beat out Pickett. It would have been too easy for him to get close to the number one spot. But now he's the fifth option. And they're treating him like it, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And all of these lies that the NFL has told, the owners have colluded. Shedeur got him a $1 billion case. They probably violated his civil rights. I just ain't sat down to look at it. But I did pay attention to the fact that they exploited him, they discriminated against him, they colluded against him, and they defamed him. We was talking about him getting his 70 million. He gonna get more than 70 million. Because there's a truth to still be told, because they still trying to play in his face. When you see God kick open a door that you try to close, you better stop. And you kept on, and now we know you did it. And now we know you liars. Now we know you'll go through any great lengths to cover up. We know you'll even blame one of your franchises. We know you'll even blame one of your franchises. You'll let your defensive coordinator take the blame. You'll put out these very weak, flimsy fines because all the while you knew it was you. And why would you do it? And if you did it, what did the owners know about it? Because they are what? Incestuous, excessively close, and know everything. They walk lockstep. Some people say they go back so many generations, they likely related. What they have done to this kid, and Ben Crump is still posting about it. Don't think he's the only lawyer that's looking at it. I'm telling you. Now, I know we have an administration that is just ain't what it's supposed to be, and they probably think they're going to get away with it, and it might take a minute. Then again, it might not, because every day the truth comes out. And now that the truth is coming out, other people are, yeah, what they said about Shedeur was trash. Well, why you ain't say it? Why you ain't pick up the phone and stop the hemorrhaging, Tom Brady? Why you ain't pick up the phone and stop the hemorrhaging, Jerry Jones? Cleveland met with Shedeur extensively. Why you ain't pick up the phone? Instead, they have anonymous sources running around saying Kevin Stefanski didn't want no parts of Shedeur Sanders. Now, y'all heard how they spoke to him, right? Let's listen to Dylan Gabriel's call.
Beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Can you hear me, man? We're excited to get you back out here. I know it's going to be a long flight to get you back out here, but we can't wait to get going with you. You impressed us throughout the whole process, Dylan, and we're really looking forward to making you a Cleveland Brown with this pick. All right? All right. I got Coach for you right here.
Long time no talk.
Long time no talk. All good?
Hey, man, you're a Cleveland Brown.
Yeah. Sounds so good. I can't wait.
I agree. I agree. Hey, we're pumped for you. We're pumped for your family. Give your mom a hug for me, okay?
Thank you, Coach. We love you. We're so
Love you guys. Hey, congratulations. We're going to get to work a little bit, okay? But congratulations. I'm going to turn you over to Tommy here in a second. Coach Reese.
What's up, man?
Duck.
How you feeling?
So good.
Yeah?
So good.
That's great, man. We're so happy to have you.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, we obviously did put all the work in for a reason. We were hoping this moment was going to come, but we're fired up for you.
Sure, appreciate that.
What, are you going to bring those for us? You going to bring one of those from us?
I got you on, don't
All
worry.
right, don't worry about it. Must look good then. I'm going to hand you over to him right now. Okay? All right, here you go.
Well, what's he talking about? What are you going to bring? What's he saying? Oh, a leg.
That's what it means, too.
And you didn't bring your Letterman's jacket so we can be twins. You see here? Hi, Dad. Hi, Pops.
All right. So y'all heard it. It's a striking, stark contrast, a distinct contrast. It was like, yeah, whatever, to Shedeur. And they were very talkative. Everybody wanted to talk. Clearly, they were on FaceTime. I'm assuming Shedeur was on FaceTime. And they seem to, in their minds, be punishing him because of Coach Prime. That your dad's going to be around. But Eli Manning's daddy and Archie Manning's daddy is the reason hell Jackson Dart probably is in New York. Not only did his son not go to the Chargers, he got another Ole Miss in there. He was the second Ole Miss QB. His son was the third, and Jackson Dart is the fourth. Now, one thing I did notice, and this could just be a coincidence, which is something that don't exist, but I'm telling you there's a connection. We just might not know what it is yet. because Jackson Dart's name always stood out to me because it was spelled Jaxon. The son that supposedly took the information from the laptop is JAX, the shorter adapted version of Jackson Dart's name. That Ole Miss sweatshirt, somebody related. Somebody is friends, related, families go back. Y'all know how it go. I grew up with you. We family. When you from New Orleans, if we just been friends for 5 years and our families know each other, we sisters and brothers. His name is Jax Ulbrich, and then Jackson Dart. I don't know. It could be nothing. It could be a novel I'm reading. But one thing about it, the dots are starting to connect. And the biggest dot was finding out that the NFL leaked Shedeur's information and lied about it and blamed and tried to put it on somebody else. I wonder whose idea that was. Was it the commissioner's idea? Because he should be fired. They already was booing him anyway. They need to fire him anyway. Ulbrich, he know what he did. Because why are you on Good Morning America? Who are you? If anybody should have been on there, it should have been Shedeur because of the way they disparaged him and defamed him. It is not a coincidence 2 of the 3 statements that were negative about Shedeur that they are moving away from came from the Giants with the pipeline to Ole Miss. And that's what that's who he was representing. It's not a coincidence their names are adaptations of each other. They know each other. That seems like family names to me. Oh, that's my little cousin. Somebody related to somebody. And I said, don't let me find out somebody is related. Nobody wants to talk about the caller. Nobody barely touched the story about the NFL lying about where the data came from and how many people had it. They want to still try to go in on this kid talking about he's polarizing, some like him or not. He's not polarizing. The NFL are liars. Liars and bullshitters. What they're really covering is why they didn't want Shedeur to be QB1. That's the real story right there. It's not that they didn't want him in the league. They would have made him work for it. They used that entitlement crap because he's black. It sounded good and it made people supposedly buy into it. And supposedly other teams were too scared to touch him. But then after Shedeur get drafted, so does everybody else from Colorado. That's some bullshit, bro. You could have drafted them in rounds 3, 4, and 5. And if Shedeur had gone where he would have went, Coach Prime would have the number 2 and possibly number 3 QBs. Or 2 first-round QBs. 2 top 10 QBs. They did him dirty, Tom Brady and Jerry Jones. I know I saw Jerry Jones light up like a Cheshire cat when he saw Shedeur because I know he saw money bags. They were willing to shun him to the point of money and make him start from the bottom. Because why? They just didn't want him to be QB1, and that's what we're going to be talking about next. Why did the NFL not want Shedeur Sanders to be QB1? And we're going to get closer to the truth that I've been telling. This is about the numbers. This is about majority black. You're not the majority of the league, but somehow, despite my resistance, you have popped up to be the majority of black QB1s. That ain't nobody but God. And all the while they fighting Lamar Jackson. And here it is. Number 16, Cam Ward. And number 17 is the one they are fighting the hardest. See, they're like, well, we're gonna pick Cam Ward so Shedeur don't get in that spot. So we can't let Shedeur get nowhere because he's going to make it to the top spot. Yeah, he is. It wouldn't surprise me, and I don't even want him in Cleveland. I'm going to be honest with you. Cleveland, the way they treat Shedeur, I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it at all. I don't like the media. I don't like the organization. They was the way the distinct difference between the calls, they treat them like he's table scraps, and he's anything but. They are table scraps. I don't like the anonymous source coming out saying the coach didn't want to have anything to do with him. Then quit your damn job. That's what you do. But you don't keep defaming this young man. All the while not talking about who the hell that is sitting over there making that call with that Ole Miss sweater on. After Emmanuel Acho tried to rub it in Deion Sanders Jr. face. So all y'all did with the draft is try to rub Jackson Dart in Shedeur Sanders' face. That's what you did. That's what the damn subplot was about. There's a larger plot to defame and push down to the 5th round because the NFL has this thing. Oh, 5th round QBs don't start. I know one that might. And I have a feeling Coach Prime got a wheelbarrow of dirt on these people. And I wouldn't be surprised if he uses it. Today, somebody that's typically you see posting around there posted, faith without works is dead. So yeah, he probably gonna be strategic about it, just like he was when he had to let those traitors go from up there from year 1 at CU. He had to be very strategic about that because he had just got there and he hired them. So he couldn't just come out to the public and be like, oh, they trash. They stabbing me in the back. He had to be strategic about it. So now he got to be strategic about how to go about this because 1, Shiloh is overjoyed and the Tampa Bay Bucks seem to love him. 2, they treat Shedeur like he table scraps, but we know we're going to deal with that. But he wants to play. His sons want to play. And it's not his dream that they both in the league because he said, take me, don't make them suffer. Shiloh got snubbed too. It is not a coincidence that the floodgates open for Colorado. They were trying to hurt the program, which to me should be why CU should be suing. Now that they see how phony and foul the NFL is enough to lie to the media and blame other people and scapegoat other people for something that they intentionally did. You don't send one person's phone number to 2,000 people. You know, you got to get the distribution list, put in his number and hit send. And the whole while you looking at all these damn people on a distribution list. A distribution list with 2,000 people likely has a nickname. The whole damn company. Everybody. The South, the North, the Northeast. They full of it, bro. They set this young man up. This young man has a case. But maybe he'll end up with better than $1 billion lawsuit because I swear he could get it. And the rest of the QBs, the black QBs that were ostracized, I don't understand why they haven't banded together. This right here should be enough to go, nope, they did it to us because I have said it multiple times. Lamar Jackson clearly wants to play. They have snubbed him 3 times. I kid you not. The draft, free agency, and the MVP. But because he's still there, they're not going to let him get that Super Bowl. He's going to have to be strategic himself. And when they run a play, he's going to have to whisper into the ear of somebody like an Isaiah Likely or a Derrick Henry that can catch and change the play on the field. That's what he's going to have to do. And when they get mad, who cares? Because you going to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't give a damn because they have no integrity. None. They barely talking about the story. That also the takeaway is the NFL got the media in its pocket, the old media. In its pocket. They talk about what the NFL want them to talk about. That's why so many up there that look like us, that look like Shedeur, is full of shit. Because they want to be comfortable at the Super Bowl. They all know if you speak out against the NFL, they will not renew your contract. They are all being paid in some way, shape, or form by the NFL. They get something in kind from the NFL. So don't listen to none of them. Find you some new age YouTubers out here who actually know more information because they take the time to research. They savages, bro. Ain't got the nerve to call somebody else savages. Y'all the goddamn savages. I need a t-shirt that says Malcolm X was right and just go ahead on and wear it. This is ridiculous. And all of this dragging this young man, trying to separate him from his father because you pretended that this was a slave auction and it wasn't. You thought you was going to demean him, but then the fans. You thought you was going to keep him out the league, but then God. And now Cleveland want to sit up here and treat him like he table scraps. Okay, somebody finna lose their job. And it's probably the coach and that GM because that's what people been saying all day. See, people think the owner of the Browns wanted Shedeur. I'm like, that's like thinking Lincoln freed the slaves. The Civil War freed the slaves because they needed people to fight. Shedeur got drafted because the league got exposed. Now you know, since they lied about their involvement, they knew about the prank. Why else would it be Shedeur's number? Nobody else's number but Shedeur. And they lied, talking about it's a few people. Nobody really saw it, just them. 2,000 people that they sent it to. That's major. That's the lengths they'll go through to cover up. And I'm telling you, Shedeur Sanders being defamed, colluded against, discriminated against, stabbed in the back, him and his daddy. or extreme lengths that they'll go through to keep the majority of QB1s from being black this year. And they succeeded in the draft anyway. They must have forgot. People get hurt. People get hurt. There are people that's saying, I think Shedeur going to be starting in Cleveland by September. I said, y'all think they're going to give him a fair chance? Because I don't. Just like what came out about the NFL and, this whole prank. I don't know if y'all noticed it, but after the prank came out, what started happening? The stories started getting quiet about the NFL. They started moving on to basketball. They started talking about other stuff, other players. But when the NFL, when they were in the NFL's pocket and the NFL wanted Shedeur disparaged, they was on it 24/7. Or 28-5 or whatever they say when it's overtime. But now that the NFL is shown to be the culprit that released his information and they lied about it, crickets. Cleveland better get it together. The fans, like Shedeur, buying his jersey was a warning to them. Now you see the fans like it. Keep playing. You piss off your fans if you want to. We all going to be outside Brown Stadium. I ain't got no problem with it. We ride at dawn. If they think they're going to sack him to death, they better think again. They better think again. I feel like the GM and the coach are on the chopping block. As far as the fans are concerned, they supposed to be on the way out. But then there's talk of Shedeur going to Jacksonville. If you ask me, that is the best scenario. People keep saying, oh, he a good fit in Cleveland. He is not. He shouldn't have to work behind 4 other quarterbacks when he was the number 2 or number 3 pick. And it's not lost on me that they gave Travis the money. They trying to rub his face in everything. Oh, you want to think highly of yourself? Then I'm going to give your buddy your $70 million. That's what they did. Oh, you want to choose the team you go to? Your daddy don't like Cleveland? Then I'm going to send you to Cleveland with a crowded quarterback room after they got exposed. He was going to be an undrafted free agent like Shiloh. They didn't care what nobody thought. They go through extreme lengths. That's what this proves about this data breach. They will go through extreme lengths to cover up. So now people should start asking, what else are you covering up? The fact that you know who the hell that is sitting there with that Ole Miss sweater on that made that call. You know who they related to. You know why it was them. Because y'all wanted to rub it in Shedeur's face that you wanted Jackson Dart. I don't think Shedeur gave a damn, but they did. You screwed Quinn Ewers too. Because Jackson Dart on most mocks was number 5. Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milroe were at the top. That's why Quinn Ewers can't say, this is collusion. And they were right. They pushed him all the way down to the bottom. Because they wanted Jackson Dart. That's all they cared about. Tennessee didn't know what the hell to do. Oh, well, shit, I'm going to just take Cam to keep Shedeur out because somebody might get him. They didn't even trust each other with the fact that they said they're going to all stand pat down together. That's why they were breathing down Mike Tomlin's neck and why they were breathing down Andrew Berry's neck. Make sure you don't say Shedeur. So they keeping up the front, talking to him like key table scraps. They clearly have underestimated the reach that the Sanders family has and how many people care about them. The Sanders family themselves are a cultural phenomenon. Shiloh numbers is running through the roof. And I was like, I could kind of see, it's taking away the negativity against Shedeur. Then on the other end, you got Deion Sanders Jr. putting out the truth that they lied on him. And since they lied about the data breach and they covering their tracks about that, and they backing away from the stories about his disastrous interviews, now that it's coming out, what did I say? He had good interviews with Tennessee. I looked at the documentation again. Not only did I document it, I said it in one of my videos. I talked about it. I said how the Shedeur had an interview with Tennessee, and they talked, the GM and the coach said how mature Shedeur Sanders was. I was wearing a light blue sweater with my hair in 2 ponytails that say "we" in French. You're probably going to see it pop right back up. I even talked about they would have to justify taking Jackson Dart because he didn't have as good of a year as they tried to sell. I watched the Senior Bowl. I heard them say in the Senior Bowl, he has reached his ceiling. They have him as the number 1 QB in the SEC, but I don't believe his information because he threw 4 interceptions in his last game. Yeah, I know they won the Peach Bowl. But see, that should tell these black QBs running to Alabama, you better look at how they did Jalen Milroe. He actually went to an SEC title game. Dart did not. And they still shunned him because he's black. Open your eyes and stop walking around here thinking that your talent is going to open these doors when your melanin is why it's closed in your face. My advice for somebody like Shedeur in the situation he's in, take it day by day. Don't look at the whole staircase. Look at one step at a time, because God, when he delays or redirects, it's for, your good and his glory. And he already delayed, and then he came back and kicked that door in for you. The delay gave us time to see how shiesty the NFL is. Now, if he redirects him to Jacksonville, hallelujah. Because we know what time it is. We know what's going down. I haven't heard Jacksonville say anything negative about Shedeur, but their owner clearly did, like everybody else, stand pat with the rest of the incestuous group of billionaires because they excessively close, which means they all knew what the other one got going on. So if one owner told the GMs take Shedeur off the board, they all did, which is why it went around 5 or 6 times, but it exposed the league. So yeah, Shedeur had to go through probably what's going on here. But what did we get to see? His beautiful character. He never wavered. It's like the devil versus Jesus. That's really what it was like. They trying to take him down. And the whole while, he stood there in faith. Oh, I knew I would be drafted. They probably didn't even like that he said that. They want him to think lowly of himself. And what did y'all hear me say the other day? That they want problematic players, and I said Antonio Brown. Why Antonio Brown came out today against Shedeur? Because that's what they want. Just like they're out here celebrating Anthony Edwards. I'm like, okay, congratulations and keep it pushing. Because that's who they want people to think we are. They don't want people to see black excellence like Shedeur. They don't. Because Shedeur is better than Jackson Dart. And they needed to justify it. I told you I had talked about this so many times. So the owners choose to believe what they wanted to believe. Because it benefited them, because they are the ones that are in charge of the race norming. They have to say so on whether the NFL chooses to believe in practice that black people are less inferior when it comes to their brains than whites. And if that's what you think about their brain, that's what you think about them overall. The owners have the ability to say yay or nay on that. And they said yes. And just because they stopped it with concussions does not mean they're not doing it with the draft. And I do believe that they are. When y'all saw me post something that says the NFL badly discriminates against black QBs in the draft, pushes them down to lower rounds like they're doing Shedeur. Well, he wasn't going to be that out, but he's still in the 5th round and they're saying it. Oh, he'll never start. The NFL doesn't start 5th round draft picks. This is all exposing that they don't want Shedeur to be QB1. Every time you say that, as if 4 people couldn't get hurt. Hell, Colorado's entire wide receiver core got hurt. And the depth chart had to go and get people that were 2nd and 3rd. It happened. But they can't even perceive that the door could open for Shedeur due to injury or anything, because that's not what they want. So they're not thinking rationally. They going through extremes to make sure this young man does not start this season. So Cleveland is treating him like he is less than. My advice to Shedeur, let me tell you something. Shedeur Sanders, I'm proud of you. You did right. You waited on God during the draft and he opened the door for you. It was delayed, not denied. But I want you to understand, sometimes God redirects. So every day when you wake up, I don't want you wondering what's going to happen, if you're going to get to the Super Bowl with Cleveland, if you're going to start, if you're not. Here's what I want you to do. Don't have no expectations, but making God proud every day. Don't worry about the Super Bowl. You too far from it right now, whether you was QB1 or not. That's at the top of the stairs. We're not working with the top of the stairs. We're working one step at a time. Go out there every day and be the best Shedeur you could be. Don't shrink yourself for these people. They have an issue with your media team because they don't want to see your excellence. If you don't want your media team to be there, then let that be your decision and don't shrink from it because they don't want to see it. Because you damned if you do and you damned if you don't. So you might as well do what you want to do. You want to make it to QB1, fine, but don't expect it. And if it don't happen, know that that's God because he clearly opened this door for you. If they're not treating you right, God will deal with it. God will deal with it. Embrace the people that embrace you and don't trust nobody because they clearly go through extreme lengths to keep you from QB1. So if they cook for you, thank you, but no thank you. If they give you something to drink, thank you, but no thank you. If they want to take you somewhere by yourself, no. Or with somebody you're not comfortable with, no. Because what they have shown is they go to the extreme that most people wouldn't even think of, so some situation can benefit them. And they tried to keep you out the league, and you still got in. But just because you get in, don't mean they're gonna let you win. I want you to look at Lamar Jackson. I want you to have fun with the process. Don't want nothing. Don't ask for nothing. Be your best person. Be polite. Don't shrink yourself. The less you expect from them, the less you will be disappointed. Just make God proud every day. That's all you have to do because that's clearly the reason you are in Cleveland. And if you hear that they moving me, be cool with it because you don't know what's coming around the corner to harm you because clearly there was intent to harm. That's what collusion is. So let me check the comments and see what's in here. There's 100 of us. There's 100 of us. We should always be reminded this is not Shedeur Sanders. Shiloh got snubbed. Every Colorado Buff got snubbed. It was intentional because they did not want Coach Prime to have the best draft out here, and he still managed to get 11 or 12 of his players into pro leagues. They don't all need to be the NFL. Some people out there need to let their pride down. If the UFL called, go. Warren Moon had to go to Canada first. The people that left CU, best luck to you because the recruiting is up. We're getting players from lots of places. We got a new cornerback today, I think from Illinois. We got another old lineman. We good. I think the players that stayed down pat started posting videos of themselves to show that they were staying. I like that. They soldiers. They know there was nothing Shedeur did. They see Coach Prime every day. All the good that Coach Prime did, and they want to make him the villain. I have figured out that the league itself is not just a plantation with the Mickey Mouse shop. It is the goddamn Mickey Mouse shop. It's just the shape of a plantation with the ears on top. This fiasco to plot against Shedeur Sanders, to humiliate Shedeur Sanders, you defamed him, you discriminated against him. Some you do against a lot of black quarterbacks. And you want to act like you never did it before. And then when you get busted, you make other people the scapegoat, just like y'all make Shedeur the scapegoat because you wanted to draft Jackson Dart. That's the Giants' issue. And then the league wanted to make sure that the tide didn't turn to majority black QB1s. It's still coming. It's still coming. And for the guys that want to play this league, you want to get the bag, don't have no expectations. Because if y'all realize, oh, they're not trying to win, cool. Just go play football. Just go play football and enjoy your life. Take it easy on each other. Just go play the game you like. Don't worry about if you never get a Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl is for the players. The TV rights and the money and the T-shirt, that's for them. And if that's all they care about, just go play football. Don't have no expectations for the Super Bowl, because if they know what you expect, they're going to keep it from you. They knew Shedeur expected to be drafted and drafted high, and you see how they try to snatch it from him. But God, don't have no expectations about this league. It's too many people that have said the top teams do not care about winning. The Giants, the Cowboys, and it's going to be some others. Cleveland might be one of them. I don't know. I don't follow them. But I know they better chill out where Shedeur concerned. I know that. Because every day the truth is coming out the closet. It's time for some heads to start rolling. Because, see, y'all been protecting this one, that one, and the other one, but the media is starting to get upset. Print media is relentless. They are the ones putting out the story. It seems like the NFL was trying to cover his tracks about Shedeur being humiliated and his phone number being leaked. Keep playing. Of course, they all knew. They are trying to control the narrative, but no, ensure your family, friends, and community have critical thinking skills so we can see through. Yeah, absolutely. And that critical thinking skill, let me tell you something. Some of the stuff that they bombard you with, see the algorithm? See, I don't like it. I don't need you categorizing what I want to see. I want to see what I want to see. I might be eclectic. I might want to look at soccer. I might want to look at ballet. I don't need you feeding me anything because I'm black and you like, oh, I'm going to send you some black stuff. Don't play me like that. That's what the algorithm does. Sometimes I don't click on stuff because I know if it's stupid, they're going to bombard me with it. This is what you want to look at. You're not going to tell me what I want to look at. There are people who can think for themselves. We still exist. But the younger generation, they better be careful. They better be careful because they set them up good. The music is straight up trash. They try to tell you that the culture is rap music. It is not. Music in general is a subset of Black culture. Black culture is a lot of things. They trying to narrow you down and define you and put you in a box and separate you from anything that makes sense. Bring you back to the point where you couldn't read, and when you couldn't read, you didn't know. When you ignorant, you don't know how to free yourself. That's why some of the stuff they look at is ignorant. They told that kid to do it. Yep, they told him to do it, and it backfired. It is not a coincidence, and that's what people are saying. So now, this changes things. This changes things. So if 2,000 people had the number, you trying to tell me only one person decided to use it? And it's an Ole Miss person sitting right there? Hell no. Come on now. Somebody said it yesterday, the Ole Miss sweatshirt guy, the caller. His son wasn't even the caller. It's like he got the information to give it to somebody from Ole Miss. And the daddy let him have it. When they said the boy wrote the stuff down, I said, okay. That's a lie, number one. And now what they're saying is the dad didn't secure his iPad. The son knew what was there. He decided to rummage through it, I guess. And then, oh, it's an email with 2,000 people. I'm going to get Shedeur a number and give it to my friend who went to Ole Miss where Jackson Dart went because we want Jackson Dart to go to the Giants. Who out here gets their parents in trouble like that with their job? At the age of 21, they're lying. They set that up just like the NFL set it up for Shedeur number to go out to 2,000 people so that they could cover their butts and say, well, we didn't give it to any one person. Well, then why did you lie and say that the Falcons did it? Why did you lie and say only a few people saw it? Because you don't want to admit that you breached this data to 2,000 people. Again, extreme cover up. You are being shown that something has happened or is going to happen, and they did it. And it's an extreme cover up. And I don't know what the hell it is, but it better not involve the safety and security of Shedeur Sanders. Because would be an extreme cover up. You best believe me. Because these people are desperate to do what they did to him. Whether it's because they wanted Jackson Dart, because the other Manning is coming through, because they wanted to satisfy that Ole Miss pipeline when it comes to QBs, or because the league don't want a majority Black QB1s. It don't matter. The point is everything they did was extreme. They are savages for what they did to this young man. They robbed him of $70 million, by the way. They didn't just push him down in the draft and try to relegate him to being cut from the team. It's not a coincidence he was on a goddamn waiver wire transaction. They've been talking, and somebody better tell the truth. This is why I say, they have friends in high places. Any other corporation right now, fans would be going in, taking devices, looking through them to find out what's been said. None of that. It's giving them time to try to destroy it, but it's too late. And I'm going to be honest, the longer it takes, the more comfortable they're going to get. So I asked the question, who is going to hold these people accountable? That's why they did it, because they know they have friends in high places. And when he came and called them stupid, and the plot goes viral, Shedeur gets drafted. They desperate. Extreme. This was extreme. Extreme. If you don't want Shedeur to be QB1, then just disinvite him to your league. But you wanted to exploit him for views. People said, you Cleveland people hating on Shedeur, but y'all running up his name for views. See, Cleveland is now doing what the draft process was. Treating him like he's entitled when he's a hard worker. I hate to see that for him. Just like I hate to see how they did him at CU. In front of all of us, had him sacked over and over. This the same thing, except for it's up here. This kid is tough. And they won't stop because they know if he can be sacked 52 times in year one and only throw 4 interceptions, and then in year 2, he can run for his damn life and win the Johnny Unitas Award, the Big 12 Offensive Lineman. You really think the Big 12 wanted to give Shedeur the Offensive Lineman, Offensive of the Year Award? No. That he could still make it to a Heisman candidate. They try to stop him everywhere he goes. So we're going to have to ride with him because this is what he want to do. But they savages, so we better protect him because they going to lie about something. And I don't know what it is, but the pattern of extreme cover-up has been laid out before us, and I just put it together for you. The media ain't going to talk about it. Whatever it is, they're going to sweep it under the rug. But just like we're not happy about what they did to him in the draft, and it was orchestrated by multiple parties, insiders, executives, top brass, they did it, whatever it is. The media getting on my nerves with the narrative of that he interviewed horribly. Yeah, that's why Bucky out here putting out the truth. And when y'all see it, y'all need to repost the truth. Repost the truth. It's going to take us to be the difference. So this one guy was like, well, one of the reasons Shedeur wasn't drafted was because he interviewed horribly. That's why the NFL, I guess, or whatever, didn't want him. I think I said one of the reasons they didn't want to get Shedeur is because the league does not want the majority of the QB1s to be black. That's what I said. Then I went on to say something else because I'm going to say it. When people say things like some of these insiders, one of the reasons Shedeur wasn't drafted high, I said, don't act like you don't know that the league does not want the majority of QB1s to be black. Eventually, I keep saying it, somebody else will pick it up. Because they know that that's what it is. See, the things that they're not saying that are obvious, or maybe not, the things that they're not saying is what you need to be listening to. That young man with that Ole Miss sweatshirt, Emmanuel Acho antagonizing and trying to rub Deion Sanders Jr. face in it, that Jackson Dart will be the second QB off the board. That's exactly what he did. And they try, and the league itself and the owners, that's why none of his friends came and they tried to rub his face in it too. And so did the New York Giants when they knew they were never going to get him. That's evil. You had no interest in him, but you smeared him because you didn't, I guess you just want the cover, because if you have a bad season or something go wrong, I don't know. Maybe you didn't want him because he's black. It could be a number of things, but it was evil. There's a number of reasons why they did it. Because it was extreme. And now they're backpedaling. It's too late. Y'all need to pay that man. They need to pay him and give him 10% ownership of some revenues or something, because he got $1 billion lawsuit. I know y'all think I'm joking, I'm not. And the reason why I equate it with $1 billion lawsuit that they just settled in 2021 is because it was about racism. It was about saying all black people are inferior, which could very well be the reason why they don't want majority of black quarterbacks. We know they don't want it, but we don't know why they don't want it. But if you do enough research and you look at the fact that they believe that black people's brains are inferior and that Shedeur thinks too highly of himself, the opposite of high is low. Low cognitive functioning. I don't want you as my QB1s. I don't even know how I let that happen. I guess I was so busy out here trying to stop Lamar Jackson, I didn't realize. But they out here playing musical chairs. You best believe that to make sure it don't happen. And him going fifth is why you hear the conversation, oh, he'll never get to start. I think it was even Stephen A that said he probably ain't gonna even have an O-line. So maybe it's good he don't start. See how that works? Maybe let somebody else go. Because he was hit on enough in college. So for Shedeur, don't want nothing, don't expect nothing, go out there and please God every day. And if you don't start, it's probably for your own protection. It probably is. Until we get away from this, until the truth comes out about why they don't want you at QB1, because that's what we're working on. That's the truth that needs to come out. Why they worked so hard and went to extreme measures to make sure he's not QB1 in the league, and why the Giants didn't want him there at all, knowing they have never had a black quarterback. That is racism. That's why he deserves $1 billion lawsuit. It's racism. It's not because he need to put his head down in Cleveland and work hard and they'll notice. I don't give a damn what he do. That's what we just learned. There's nothing he can do. Working, he's damned if he do and he's damned if he don't. The best he could do is go out there, have fun with it, and please God every day. Until God close that door and open another one. But until then, he better keep his head on a swivel because they desperate. They desperate to hold you down because they know you the one. They know you are him. That's why they trying so hard to treat you like you table scraps, because they know you not. They know you can outrun any goddamn body and still win a game. Baylor. They know this. And they still don't want it. That's evil. That's just pure evil. That's all it is. So, so we just stay on top of it, where Shedeur is concerned. I don't know if y'all have followed Will Shepherd or not. I know Shiloh has some information out there about the team saying good things about him, and people feel like he's going to be good. He's going to be good. But I want y'all to understand, all of these guys got snubbed because people say it was about Coach Prime. No, it was about the program at CU, and that's why CU needs to sue. But I also said that Colorado needed to do what? I said that Colorado needed to get those referees in line. Did they do that? They need to be on the NFL's head for trying to stop what could have been one of the most successful recruiting classes in the NFL that they had. You don't get the elite wide receiver crew in and the quarterback not. That's collusion to keep him out. So now we're going to focus on, now why you didn't want him in here? Because he good. Why you didn't want the best? It's going to come out. It's either going to come out or they're going to give him his money. But it's going to take something that we didn't expect. Just like we didn't expect today to hear that the NFL was the culprit that created the opportunity to execute the humiliation in public during the draft. The subplot. It ain't a prank. It's a subplot. It's a smaller plot and a bigger one. And the NFL executed it. They created the opportunity. Without the NFL putting his number out there, somebody would have had to go and get it. And guess what? It would have been obvious because you accessed the file. But now with them putting it on a distribution list with 2,000 people, including managers, it's like, well, anybody could have got it. That's why they did it that way. This was all calculated. Somewhere, somebody got notes. Somewhere there's conversations. This is why this should be investigated. But there's a reason why it's not. Because something else is coming out. The truth is coming out slowly. This ain't the end. Cleveland better chill out. That's all I know. That's all I know, because the truth probably coming from that direction. So now the NFL is quiet because it's been busted again. The plot couldn't have happened if they didn't send out his number to 2,000 people and they lied about it. And they scapegoated somebody else. Just like they scapegoated Shedeur. It tells you that they're capable. It shows you what they're capable of. When people show you what they're capable of, you got to move different around them. If somebody show you that they're capable of committing a crime and scapegoating somebody else and lying about it, they're going to do it to you too. The Giants, the Giants in that Ole Miss the connection. I told y'all, I'm like, they're not going to help. I'm like, they have never had a black starting quarterback, so people keep coming to me. So let me just say it out here once. And I probably have said it before, but maybe some people weren't around. People were like, the Giants had Geno Smith. He was a QB2. They made sure of it. Tyrod Taylor was a QB2. You don't get to play 5 games and be the starter. The starter is the QB that plays the majority of the games. So when they say, why did they tweet out after they drafted Jackson Dart? Why did they tweet out Russell Wilson going to be the starter? Why would you put that out there? Russell Wilson has to play the majority of the games to be the starter. We could sit up here, and if there's 9 games is the halfway point, he can play 8.5. And Jackson Dart could take over. I've already started to see articles about who's starting, Jackson Dart or Russell Wilson. If you look at how much they paid Jackson Dart versus how much they paid Russell Wilson, and the fact that they've never had a black quarterback and that Ole Miss QB pipeline to the Giants, there you answer. We gonna see. They have never had a black starting quarterback. Maybe they want to get that out the way. And he played 10 games. But they were not taking Shedeur, knowing they have Russ and Jameis Winston, and have 3 out of 4 quarterbacks black, and one of them going to start. That ought to tell you your answer right there. Look at the extreme they went to make Shedeur don't go there. I knew he wasn't going there, though. But now that I know Archie Manning, Eli Manning, and Jackson Dart and somebody else came from Ole Miss, I know what they're doing. And they never had a black quarterback. I see exactly. They trying to make sure they don't. They trying to make sure they don't have a starter. Because if they just got rushed, there's no reason for them to pick Jackson Dart. You say you're going to develop Jackson Dart when you know damn well Archie Manning grandson finna come through the door. Somebody got to go. Just like in Cleveland. They lying, bro. Everything is just a lie. They have shown you what they're capable of. Extreme cover-ups, extreme plots to harm and collude. And collusion is the goddamn crime of choice. Lamar Jackson has experienced it 3 times. He gonna have to do some strategic planning to win a Super Bowl. Lamar, call me if you need an idea, because I got one for you. He gonna have to call an audible from whatever the coach called. That's what he gonna have to do. Him, and they're gonna have to be in on it, and they're gonna have to be prepared to be cut or traded. So make sure you stack your chips in the bank. And they're gonna stand pat against y'all too. But that's the only way you're going to get it. That's the only way. And they're not going to be grateful for it. They're going to be pissed off that you didn't do what they told you to do. That was one of the complaints that the little person had about Shedeur. He calls a lot of his own plays. So you mad that he was successful at it? Or you mad that you ain't going to have no job? Or he better than you at it? Yeah, they upset. They don't want him to have any type of responsibility at all. They like, we want you to come in here and do what we tell you. That's really what it is. That's really what these guys are signing up for. They are signing up for racism with Jim Crow as HR. The money has to be paid to you. Some people got to fight for it. Lamar Jackson had to fight for his contract, but Josh Allen got gifted $330 million on the plate with 60% guaranteed. They all stood against Lamar Jackson, who had won the MVP and did not want to pick him up when he was a free agent. That's why he's still in Baltimore. Just go out there and have fun. Don't even worry about the Super Bowl. Just go out there and have fun with your guys. Just know they're going to send somebody in the locker room to start some shit. Understand that. They're going to send somebody in the locker room to report back. So don't trust nobody. Don't. Have fun. Like Stephen A. told Travis when they were in New Orleans ahead of the Super Bowl. Everybody's not against you, but it is your job to figure out who is and who is not. And that is true for Shedeur as well. And people are out here praying for Travis that he's safe. I'm like, is something going on in Jacksonville? Because remember they said, we here for you. So something going on. I don't know what's going on. But we got to keep an eye on our guys. So I have followed all of the teams. I know on YouTube. I probably have done the same on Twitter. But Twitter is where the information comes in first for the most part. That's the only reason I got Twitter. That's where a lot of the teams and the coaches, Coach Prime and them, Shedeur and them included. Everybody, sports is on Twitter. The way Cleveland was clapping for Shedeur when he was drafted said it all. They don't want him there. But now they see money flowing. They're going to fake it until they squeeze the sponge dry. Right. And the fact that they talking about, well, he was sent out with the waiver report, the waiver transaction. I'm like, oh, so y'all just bold with it. You just put it out there that you're going to cut him. Okay. And remember, what did Cleveland say? We're not making no promises. I hope Pac-Man Jones is right. And I hope one of these damn people have some sense about themselves and want to make some money and not stand together to hurt and harm a person who didn't do anything other than be Black excellence. Because that's what they think he's guilty of. It says, as long as they will never live in his melanated body and feel the way he feels, he wins to me. Yeah, but he got to be safe too. When people go through extremes like they did, you can't turn your back on people like that. Ain't no telling what they gonna do. Welcome to the 105. People watching, please bless us by hitting the like button. Oh, that's Gracie. Thank you, Gracie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hit the like button for me, everybody. It's 204 of us in here. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'm going to ask y'all to do something. People come tell me that they love the content, they love the video. I want you to hit the share button and send just one video to somebody that you respect. Because, I think I have this idea that I want to get to 1 million either views first and then 1 million subs. Because I do think my voice will eventually be amplified. And I'm going to have y'all to thank for it. So thank you. I had nothing but wonderful reviews. And I know God is on my side because I ain't had no bots. Because a lot of people have bots. So I thank you. Thank you so much. That's why I'm good with the slow growth. I feel like when you grow too fast, that's how you get bots. They are mad right now because they don't want him, but want the money and don't want the backlash. Right. They want the view. They just like the draft. The reason why they didn't disinvite him is because he brings views. It's crazy to say he can make us a lot of money. So let's go ahead on and bring him to the draft and get the views up. And then we gonna embarrass him. What? And you supposed to be a business? No, you're not a business. You're not a business at all. I can't wait for Jackson to play. I'm sure they won't get their money's worth. I don't know what the hell gonna go on now, but that pipeline, that connection, that needs to come out too. That needs to come out. People are saying that the Giants organization is mad because they didn't pick him and players are ready to leave. Yes, and let's talk about one player in particular ready to leave, the Saints. Alvin Kamara, I'm telling you, this is the perfect opportunity for these players to just walk off the field. I'm telling you, if Coach Prime or somebody, these guys got enough money. If 7-on-7 could thrive, pop up and thrive and have sponsors, you could do the same thing. You do not need an NFL stadium. All y'all need. I mean, everybody got to record these days. Stream your games and everybody going to show up. People are sick of this. We are only here supporting the players. When I started this podcast and people say, who's your favorite team? I say, I don't have a favorite team. I support the players. Now you see why. And this extreme behavior that they have put forth is new for me, because this is crazy. This is huge. This is like a movie. This actually could be a movie, and it's a horror film. It really is. It's like Shedeur Sanders don't know it, but he might. He in the movie Get Out. Sinners. Anybody saw Sinners yet? The vampires? How they mask as good people? And you have to invite them in, and then they do what? Turn on you. I believe it, because Alvin Kamara posted, he said, I am pissed off. That's what he said. That's what he said. I tell you, Travis Kelce came out today and said he was hot. I'm like, okay, y'all kind of late, ain't y'all? But Alvin Kamara was up at CU. He told Shiloh, welcome to the league. These players are not happy because they are not trying to win. They just trying to get their friends money. I'm telling you, that's all it is. They don't care about the Super Bowl. They don't care about winning because they still get paid. That's why the draft is not about talent. That's why the league is not about competitive and winning games. That's what the players want. And some of them know it's just about giving people like Trevor Lawrence or Josh Allen, who's not the best, money and making it look like the white people are better than the black ones. This is racism. This could end this league. I want y'all to understand, if another league come along, or if Coach Prime go invest in the UFL and we can follow him there, this is over. This is over. Because the black players are already showing they pissed off. See, they didn't expect this. They expect the black players to be like, well, why y'all mad about Shedeur? What? This Colin Kaepernick all over again. You don't want black people to care about how you treat black people. They don't care about the black fans. So I don't know who's going to be at the games. People excited they got Shedeur's jersey. They probably going to go to the games. People say they probably going to push Shedeur out there a few times, and that's it. They don't have to be forced into making him play, and the fans going to have to revolt. The players are already starting to revolt. They're starting to let their frustrations be known and their displeasure with the league. And now that it's coming out that they lied and went to the extreme measures about that data and put him out there like that, I think his locker room got him. But I don't trust everybody. I think his locker room looking out for him. Bucky coming out with the truth. Shiloh going on like, I ain't letting y'all stop nothing. And that's what he should do. Because his positive counteracts their negative. If we just constantly fill social media with love for Shedeur and accountability for them, and show up, because somebody said, I have a feeling y'all gonna end up protesting. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, I think y'all gonna end up in front of a stadium protesting. I'm like, okay. I think I'm down for it. I think I'm down for it, because when you see how extreme people, the lengths that they go through, you move different. And I'm happy. I asked who's holding them accountable. It's starting with what I call digital media, which is like when you go online and Sports Illustrated got their digital magazine. I told y'all yesterday, shout out to Sports Illustrated. They were calling out the league yesterday. Now people are calling out the league, writing articles about how they lied, and now they're trying to cover their tracks. So maybe somebody will finally get to the point about what is the Ole Miss connection to this subplot, and that it's a part of a larger plot. And who's going to make the connection to the Ole Miss pipeline and Mississippi and Ole Miss to the Giants, who have never had a black quarterback? That might explain why y'all was trying to make sure Shedeur don't get there, because you know he will be QB1. I'm waiting on people to get to that. And then people going to be like, oh my God, it's racism. Yeah. Maybe if y'all talked about the fact that race norming took place until 2021 and they fought about it until 2024, and the fact that they're not using it for concussion head injuries, but they're using it for the NFL draft. And it's documented. Make the connection. It's there. People gonna get, some people, the people closest to the NFL, they're not gonna say nothing. It's us. People that care about people like Shedeur and Shiloh, who realized that the CU program was being snubbed. CU gonna probably be behind the scenes moving to shaking too, unless they just didn't like Shedeur. And I didn't get that impression, because for Shedeur's jersey to be retired. See, people thought that was Coach Prime doing. Somebody pointed out in the comments under Well Off Media how many steps that had to go through and who likely initiated it. You notice it wasn't Shedeur and Shiloh. See, people always forget about Shiloh. Well, Coach Prime hit Shedeur, you know, he feel entitled because nobody cares about who your daddy is. You lucky you don't get hemmed up at Costco. Because some of us ain't above it right now. Andrew Berry too. Mike Tomlin. They got a picture of him looking like. Sometimes the pictures they be using the people, I'm like, y'all ain't right. Making him look like Sambo with his eyes bugged out. That's how they made him look. They know what they're doing. This is racism. That's all that's being exposed. The extreme lengths that they'll go because of racism. And that what they did to Shedeur has been done before. It's just, we don't know when it came to Michael Vick how that really went down. Deshaun Watson, Geno Smith, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Shedeur Sanders, Michael Penix Jr., Caleb Williams, Bryce Young. Notice I didn't mention nobody white because those people roll off because those are the ones that have been ostracized or put through some things. CJ Stroud, leaking his test results and sharing it with everybody, making fun of him, which is what they did with Shedeur's phone number because they knew what they was going to do. See, they're already guilty of the behavior. It's just this is the extremists because they're desperate. When Lamar Jackson came out, they just wanted to slow it down. They try to dissuade him. They try to say he was part of the dual threat quarterback curse. They said the same thing about Deshaun. But Michael Vick was the first dual threat quarterback. Also the first black player to be drafted in the first round. And several, possibly 5 years after, he's the starter in Atlanta, killing it. He gets busted and they take the money back they gave him 5 years ago. Where have you ever heard of that happening? I have never. And I don't even know if his contract said it. It could have, because I know they have integrity clauses. But I would imagine the most they should have been able to do, unless he didn't read it, was fire him. I have never heard, tell me one CEO that was caught guilty of something. They took their money back. In fact, CEOs get the rest of their money plus their bonus. They get a buy, take this money and go. Yeah, just like coaches in college football. If they get fired, they still get paid. They still get paid. Same thing. But Michael Vick, 5 years later, he gets in trouble and they take his first round money back. And this was the first black quarterback to be taken in the first round. Come on now. Deshaun Watson, just like everybody else, including them. Turns out the lawyer against him, next door neighbor with the owner. Come on now. Lamar Jackson, he don't want to be a wide receiver. I heard Troy Aikman sit up on a broadcast, a YouTube video or one of them panels that they be having and said, yeah, it's because he got dropped. Lamar Jackson had the same headlines as Shedeur. Oh, he's fast dropping in the draft. And guess who was one of the people I think that said it? Mel Kiper Jr. I was like, he had a fit when Shedeur didn't get on. I screenshot all of this because I have noticed something too. They'll put a story out, and then when they get busted, that story's gone. Or there's a caption that says, this story was updated for inaccurate information. So I screenshot what I see right then and there, because if you go back, it's going to be different. You're going to have to hunt for it. I asked the question, what's the connection with Ole Miss and the New York Giants? Guess what the answer? AI returned the answer. Guess what it said? The quarterbacks. 4 quarterbacks have come from the Giants to Ole Miss, and it named them. And I said, bingo. Ole Miss was not a coincidence to be a part of the phone, to be making a phone call. That Ole Miss representation, I asked you, I said, why he just didn't wear something different? They wanted to rub Shedeur's face in the fact that Jackson Dart got drafted before him. That's what they did. I'm not guessing. That's exactly what Emmanuel Acho was doing to Shedeur's brother. That's how ugly and savage it is. Not savage in a good way. Why would you antagonize his brother? What he got to do with it? They knew then. And it's time stamped. And then Acho gonna get on TV and say, well, I mean, I tried to talk about, I try to show your family love. I'm like, you know what? Your day is coming. There's certain people that need to get gone. Acho is one of them. Shannon Sharp is another one. Shannon got up here and bragged about only paying $38,000 for his daughter's wedding. And everybody called him out because he's trying to pay this girl $25,000 per cheek. And that he offered the girl $10 million and then went back and offered her $25 and she still won't take it. But I ain't the one get married. I said, that's why you in your situation you in right now, because you selfish. You care more about a white 19-year-old than you do your grown black daughter. Way to set an example. The son used electronic communication to bully Shedeur. Son should be charged for cyberbullying. Yeah, they trying to make sure that we don't ever talk about who wearing that Ole Miss sweater and the connection to the Ole Miss pipeline to the Giants, because that's going to blow it up. They don't want to talk about any consequences to the son, so they put it all on the father. But the NFL knew it was them the whole time. That's crazy. If I'm the Falcons, I'm like, hold on now. I don't want to be a part of this. But see, the Falcons can't say nothing because they stood down pat too and let Shedeur go 6 times. And Coach Prime played for Atlanta. He just played for Atlanta. He put them on the map. People love Coach Prime in this city. I showed y'all a photo. I told y'all every time I go somewhere and I see somebody when I'm out of town or at restaurants with Coach Prime's jersey on, I take a picture of it because that was 1989 through the 90s or something like that. This is 2025 and people still, Prime is huge. They underestimated that, which is why Shedeur's jersey is sitting at number 1. I was like, I'll allow it because I can see what God doing. He trying to let him know he was supposed to go first. Not 2 or 3, first. That's why his jersey is number 1. He was the most popular player in the draft. Let me remind you. You didn't care about making money. You didn't care about growing the business. All you cared about was making sure that he was not QB1. And it's not personal. It's because this is the year that they will be 17 or 18 black starting QBs. Cam is 16, which is split right down the middle, 32. And Shedeur tips the tide to 17 to the majority. That's why it was so extreme. They were so desperate. It's like holding on to a speedboat from the outside for dear life. You desperate. Because that ain't what you want, because you've been practicing race norming by saying black people are inferior to whites. Let's be clear. That did not just extend to the players who had concussions. That did not just extend to NFL players and employees. That's black people that they're talking about. They're saying we are inferior to white people. That's why you can't let this go. And it makes me think, oh, y'all don't care if we come to the game time. Y'all don't care if we at the Super Bowl, but you're going to make money off us at the halftime show. Because let us not forget, Kendrick Lamar had what? The most watched of all time Super Bowl. And they want to act like we don't matter. Just like they want to act like Shedeur don't matter. Yeah, he doesn't have to earn his keep. Like, no, Shedeur don't have to earn no keep. What the hell is that? That's if you say if you told Dylan Gabriel he had to earn his keep and everybody else that was drafted, then that's just what you say. But he's the only one that got this condescending message, and it was not welcoming. It was not friendly, and they're treating him like we don't want you. Well, you know what? Then why you draft me? Tell me what really happened. You was forced into it. Why? Because the Ole Miss connection was about to get exposed and tell everybody everything. That this was a plot designed to harm Shedeur Sanders, which means you're admitting to collusion and discrimination, and then that triggers off civil rights lawsuits. I told you he got him $1 billion case. But to me, the rest of the QBs that have been through what Shedeur been through or worse, I don't know why they haven't already done it. I don't know why they don't stand up and speak for him. You ain't even in the league no more. Maybe they won't get their benefits, their retirement benefits. But there's always a reason they want to be quiet. And people want, like Chris Carter, want to come tell Shedeur what he want to do. He better shut the hell up. That's what he better do. Shedeur is one of the good ones. He not wanting to play slave. Coach didn't even want to clap for Shedeur. No, that's what people are saying. And now anonymous sources are popping up again saying that Stefanski, I guess the head coach or whatever, didn't want Shedeur. He didn't want no parts of it. That's what they said. I'm like, it's funny how y'all still running with these anonymous sources after they got you in trouble, but you're still doing what got you in trouble in the first place. You're just doing it in Cleveland. We see you, Cleveland. We see you. They have clearly underestimated how much people like this family. That's why I use the phrase, everybody loves Shedeur, because it's true. The only people that don't like him are racist. That's it. They don't want to see him ball out there too, because they know he gonna do it. See, if they really thought he wasn't good, they wouldn't be fighting him. They wouldn't be fighting him. Look at how many mediocre QBs they took. Look at Tyler Shook. Totally different phone call. Absolutely. Totally different demeanor, phone call. This is ugly. And do you think they care if this get out? I don't know. Now that I don't know. They might be thinking, oh, nobody knows about this, because they give me the impression they're not too bright. They're poorly run, disorganized, and not too bright. That's what the whole shop is giving. And I'm looking at Coach Prime was, I told you I was teaching the class about leadership and how he's on these players to get ready for the next level. You got to be professional. You got to show up on time. You have to give it your all. And then these franchises in the league itself is run like a damn circus. They going from elite in college. See, I'm going to tell you what I think get ready to happen. I think these schools get ready to give these kids some money. UT say they spending $56 million on their football roster. These kids not going to come out of school like they was doing before. They see what happened to Shedeur. It ain't worth it. Most of these kids know that this because he's black. Most of these kids, some think it's because of Coach Prime. But there are some that have families that have texted them, that tweet them or whatever, and they say, you're going to be good. Remember what we taught you. See, we black. We don't learn in college about racism. You learned that long time ago. You got to be 2 times better than. And sometimes that don't even work, because if they don't want you, they're not letting you in. Unless they forced into it. And look at what's going on. How Shedeur is being treated like table scraps. Or a dog with fleas that they just got to take into the house. That's what they do. And it could be to run him off. It could be, because that happens too. They might be like, well, maybe he gonna quit because he made more money in college. Because they count his pockets. They robbed him on purpose. And it could be because they thought he was gonna quit, leave, go to Canada or whatever. They really probably feel like that. They don't want him anywhere near the opportunity to be QB1. And if his name was associated with a waiver wire, they were planning to undraft free agent, pick him up, and drop him. That's not a coincidence either. Why would the equipment managers get the waiver wire? Shedeur don't work there. It ain't like he had to turn in his cleats. This was a farce to try to get his number out there, because they knew somebody was going to lift it, because the plot was hatched. It's not a coincidence that the only team that has never, well, the team that has never had a black quarterback that is incompetent, that told Saquon Barkley he could go test the market and said that Chicago was just running up the price, but protected Daniel Jones through how many contracts? For how much money? For how many years of losing seasons, regardless of what the rest of the people think, because the QB position is the highest, the most important position on the team. So as long as he happy, screw everybody else. And I pay these white dudes handsomely, so they don't care. That's why you get paid $100 million as a tight end, so you can shut the hell up. Because this ain't about you. I just need you here to make sure they don't take over everything. I see you at the country club. It's not a coincidence. Shedeur's number will sit out on the distribution list with nothing but Shedeur Sanders' new phone number, which was his draft phone. That's how he knew where it came from. Shout out to Boost Mobile. And the waiver wire. They've been talking about this kid. In any other normal society, anybody that looked like the feds would have went in, stormed at 5 a.m. and took all their devices. And when they got to work, it would have been empty when it comes to their laptops and PCs. That's what should have happened already. There's more than enough here. Just like they did Diddy with those tanks, they had more than enough out of concern for somebody being harmed to storm his house. Well, now they should be concerned about Shedeur being harmed because he was harmed in front of our face. And that's what should have happened. I ain't saying they should have came with tanks, but Homeland Security or the feds or the CIA, somebody should have been down at the headquarters in that man's house and taken his phones, his wife's phones, his son's phone, and that young man's phone so I can see who you called before and after these calls. And we're going to look through all these devices. And we're going to talk to your neighbors and find out what you told them because y'all got him on the waiver wire. And then I'm going to go up there to Atlanta, wherever their headquarters is at, and I'm taking all their stuff by surprise. And I'm packing it up, and I'm going to spend months looking through it. And I'm going to prove that this was not about this young man nor his daddy. This is about racism. That's what should have happened already. People waiting on Coach Prime to sue. What would that do? Well, I mean, if HSI not storming on them already, that ain't gonna trigger it. Who got the Justice Department? Right. So you got to go about this a different way. Then he got recruits at CU. He got to try to still get into the league. So he got to move very carefully. But I know he know how to do it because he was very strategic in year one with getting them folks up out of there and not letting us know. So he moving strategically, and Big Crump is still posting about it. So this might take a while. We just got to make sure Shedeur's okay. We got to look on the other guys too, because see, now they got to make the roster. See, first they was all held back, but then they all got picked up. Well, for the most part, I think everybody but 4 or 5 of them. I don't know about Chidozie. If y'all found out about Chidozie, let me know. I was shocked. At one point, Vegas was looking at him, so I don't know what happened. But I think what Coach Prime, what happened, 11 or 16 players into 12 or 11 or 16 players into pro leagues, and either 11 of them into the NFL between the draft, between signing and camp invites. Prime is him. And he lost players and got about 3 more since. Whatever he lost, he got back more. He got that, back that plus extra. Coach Prime is him. And see, what's happening now is the only people that's going to gravitate to see you, they're not coming to use the program no more because they don't believe in it. The people that are coming now are the people that saw he still got 11 people in and his son went late. And they saw what happened. They saw that after Shedeur got drafted, the floodgates opened. They know Shedeur's gone now. So who next? Somebody asked, well, they going to do the same thing to Juju. You know why they put that out there? To try to get Juju to leave. Which is probably why they did it in the first place. They don't want to give Coach Prime credit for having 2 top 5 picks. They didn't want to give him credit for having 2 Heisman candidates in the top 5. They never talked about Shedeur. I had to go look it up. They don't want to talk about the fact that he has, out of 16, 11 in the draft. Have you heard anybody say it? No. They don't want to admit he's good at what he does. They don't want to admit that Shedeur is good at what he does. Instead, they want to say Shedeur thinks highly of himself. What they're saying is he's Black excellence, him and his daddy. And they don't like that because you're not going to control Black excellence. That's why the anonymous person made the comment that Stefanski don't want to be nowhere near the Shedeur coming to Cleveland. Why? Because he lame and he gonna get fired? He gonna get fired anyway. People saw the video on how they treated Shedeur, and they saw how Dylan Gabriel was treated, and everybody can see the difference. People are tired of the way they're treating Shedeur. Players are starting to get upset. As fans, we next. We upset online. I'm talking about in person as we get closer and closer to the season. Some people don't know when to quit. And that's who they are. Why did the reporters not ask him who the guy who made the call was? They probably were told not to, because they don't want that to come out. They don't want it to come out who that is. They don't want it to come out. And I'm surprised the internet ain't found out yet. The internet might not be paying attention because it's basketball season. This might get swept under the rug, and there's a reason for it if it does. But it's going to come out eventually. Nobody is ignoring that Ole Miss sweatshirt. Some people saw it, but they like, it'll come out. Now that the NFL lied and covered his tracks, I mean, honestly, you know how journalists are. They starting to pick up on they're covering their tracks for something, and they might ask the question. They might ask the question. All right, there's 206 of us. We're almost 2 hours in. It says, what did the NFL, when the NFL's desperate for a QB, then the situation's going to change. Yeah, they're going to be begging. I'm telling y'all right now, if Coach Prime went and started a league and we all went over there, they would want to buy his league. I know he knows he will be successful, but he does have a delicate balancing act because now we got these players over here that I got to get. Remember Juju? I think after Juju, if CU just doesn't do anything about this, or he find out that they had, because you remember they interview everybody. And I noticed the guy that did the one where we did the color-coded analysis, I noticed he mentioned Pat Shermer's name. So, and think about it. What did Pac-Man Jones say? Pac-Man Jones, the move is what? The move in the future, what did he say? And Shapiro agreed. Shedeur goes to Jacksonville. And Coach Prime goes a year later. Now, y'all know Coach Prime got a 9-year contract. I mean, through 2029, through 2029. That's 4 years. So I don't know. And if I hear it again, if I don't hear it again, then it went away. But I've heard it twice. And every time I hear it, there's more details to it. The first time it was just Shedeur going to Jacksonville. Now they're trying to unload. Now, if we hear in the media that they have successfully traded Trevor Lawrence, we're going to see who's on the move. It would surprise me. To me, Cleveland might as well. If Jacksonville's like, hey, let me go ahead and get let me take him off your hands. You think they'll do it? See, they passed on Travis and Shedeur. They could have got both of them. It's reported they could have gotten both of them. They made horrible decisions. I don't know what they got going on. But that's exactly what Coach Prime was saying. This is not where you want a young QB because they're going to mismanage his career. So maybe it was good they didn't take Milroe, Travis, or Shedeur. Even though Travis is not a QB, but the point is they clearly have some issues up there. But if Jacksonville came, if we hear in the news Trevor Lawrence been traded, I'm probably going live. Or I'm definitely going to talk about it that night, depending on what's going on. If they unload him, that means Pac-Man Jones was right. But things could change. But if they unload him on, shit, they can send him to Cleveland. Think about it. I know they got 4 QBs, but they got 5 now. So they can have 5 again. Swap. I will instantly be a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. So I'm just saying. I feel like that's where all my excitement comes from. Him leaving Cleveland because I don't like the way they treat him. And this whole, we not promising you nothing, come in here and earn you, keep your head down. He the 5th QB. And he was on the waiver wire. That's where his phone number was. He don't even work for them. How the hell he on the waiver wire and he don't work for them? So you open the email, you selected a distribution list with 2,000 people, and you selected a report and you attached it. And the subject was what? What was the subject? Because the body of the email was only Shedeur Sanders' new phone number. What was the subject? And who sent the email? And what was the date? Because if the date of the email tells you how long this plot and the subplot, which is the call, was planned. This is why I say in a normal society, somebody with HSI would have already been there and took all of that stuff. Yep. I've seen so many times ex-NFL players saying negative things about Shedeur. Yeah, and now that I guess the truth is starting to come out, everybody want to come out. Yeah, Shedeur definitely found out who his fans were. Like John Morant used to say, now y'all want it to be, everybody want to change sides, stay on that side. That's exactly what he need to say. But, you know, I don't know where it's going to be. My hopes are for Jacksonville. And I know everybody just bought those jerseys. But the fact that they had an email with 2,000 people on it that's something called need to know. That's what they teach you when it comes to protected data. You only send data to people who need to know. Shedeur did not work for the NFL. As I pointed out, why would he be on a general ass email about the cafeteria being out? What was the subject of the email when you selected the distribution list with 2,000 people that did need to know Shedeur Sanders had a new phone number and you attached a waiver wire report? What was the subject? These are all questions that need to be answered. And in the absence of a lawsuit in the society that we live in, I don't know. I don't know. We either just gonna be out here constantly finding out new information until it just all blow up and everybody have an aha moment. Because I don't see a lawsuit being filed, even though it's definitely one that's there. And I don't see the Justice Department doing anything because that's their friends. So it's just God. We're just gonna have to keep finding out what's going on, I guess. That's what I think. It's dumb to want to blackball Shedeur and quiet his persona. They made him bigger than he was before stepping on the field. Yes, people said that because why? People have been putting in the comments, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, but I'm supporting this kid. I bought his jersey. There are people supporting Shedeur because they know it's wrong. That's the only reason some people support him. They just know it was wrong and their heart aches for him. This is like us watching him being sacked mercilessly by people who are compromised. Shedeur has fans everywhere. That generation alone is going to take over the stadium. It will be empty if he don't play. Oh, it's going to be a problem. If they let him play one game, like at the end and come out, if they treat him like they treat him right now and they, don't let him play the first, it's going to be a problem. That's why I think this Jacksonville thing is starting to resonate. It's starting to make sense. I don't know how it came about. The fact that it has been discussed publicly, I don't know if they know. I don't know what they know. I know they don't appreciate him, and God does not leave his people anywhere that they are not appreciated, and Shedeur is clearly his people. And they too stupid to respect that fact because they arrogant. They are some savages. And we need him and Travis do need protection. Anybody lean into you when they first meet you talking about, we got you. I mean, we didn't acquire you, but we got you. And I don't know what the hell you talking about. You telling me you know something I don't know. Then just tell me. That you don't do people like that because now you got me wondering, do you know something I don't? Am I in danger? Fans out here with Travis jersey on, praying for him in Jacksonville. I'm like, okay, I don't know what the hell is going on here. That was today. The crap Cam Newton. You know what? I saw his caption and I heard Shannon Sharp went in on him. Y'all know his problem. See, sometimes people just want to make everything about themselves. And he didn't leave the league on a good note. And yeah, he came in as the Heisman, but I don't think anybody snubbed him right away. I think there was some things there, and they did him dirty. But see, when he had the opportunity to stand up for Bryce Young, he didn't. He threw Bryce Young under the bus and Shedeur Sanders too. Y'all remember? Bryce Young's girlfriend is dating who and mess with who and who and who. That was so unnecessary. He said that was the reason why he wasn't playing well. Instead of the fact that the organization clearly is in disarray. He ought to know that better than anybody. They did him dirty. That's like us realizing the extremes that the NFL will go to, and then something happened, don't make no sense, and we blaming Shedeur. No. Hell no. No, no, no. See, that's what you do when you just want to find fault at somebody, or you want to make everything about yourself. And that's why I didn't listen to his statement. And you know what? I was rolling with him for a minute because it looked like he was doing good with his girlfriend because she had pulled his chain and said, maybe, you being too harsh on Shedeur. And he seemed to have gotten better, but he took this moment for himself. I didn't watch it. I haven't been watching some of the same people. I don't watch Shannon videos no more. I just saw a post on social media about how he did his daughter dirty with the 38,000. Talking about I ain't get married, and people coming at him saying, but you was gonna pay this girl 25,000 per cheek. You offered this girl $10 million. She said no. Now you up the price to 25. You ain't got but 14, and it came out that he lost his $100 million deal. So either you don't have the money, or you just selfish. You rather pay a 19-year-old little white girl on OnlyFans than do something, stand up for your daughter. But she probably know who you are anyway. So most people do. By that age, you know who your parents are. Karma is getting a bite, all involved. I agree, Tina. You know what I want? I want to wake up and I just want something to be. Coach Prime has done something. I don't know what it is. And I know he's doing something. But I mean something that's just going to stick it to him. A new league, because that would do it. The players are starting to be upset. To me, that's what it is. Either Coach Prime need to invest in the UFL. Remember, Coach Prime is friends with The Rock. The Rock been out there to see you. The Rock probably might be about to pick up some of the players from Colorado for next season, because their season is just now ending, I think. And that is very possible. And Coach Prime, I mean, honestly, instead of reinventing the wheel, just put the Coach Prime effect on it after you become an investor owner. That's what I think should happen. I say create his own because I don't know how they structured that one. But The Rock is, I think, the owner of that league, and they are friends. And he might have texted Prime, I got an opening for some owners. But then sometimes people don't want their own stuff. He might not want to do that. He might not want the Prime effect. I don't know. But I know it needs to be done. However you get it done, the Prime effect needs to be on a league that respects Black men. That's what it needs. And then all the kids from CU could go there, and other schools too. They would be so jealous. They would try to buy it. They would try to stop it just like they did Ice Cube and the Big Three. But it would be successful because Coach Prime, just like Shedeur, is successful everywhere they go. I think hopefully he knows by now he don't need them, and he should not want to associate. Just get them kids where they got to go and get your own going. And he could be working on it behind the scenes because he came from somewhere. And when they were asking him, TMZ was trying to get next to him. He was like, God is good, and he kept it pushing. They said good things about Shedeur until he reached the draft. Yeah, he the number one QB in the draft. This, that, and the other. See, and I blame the media for this, kind of. The media was pushing Shedeur to the Giants. I kept saying, I didn't hear the Giants say that. And I felt like because they heard that maybe it's two trains going down the tracks. It's two trains here. The big plot and the smaller one. The smaller one involves the Giants, Ole Miss, the famous Shedeur trying to rub Jackson Dart in his face as number 2 QB. They were never going to pick him. They never had a Black starting quarterback. I wondered today if they felt like the owners were going to force them to take Shedeur, so they went out on the offensive. He this, he that, he this. And what they said is what the owners took. But then the second train that's going down the track simultaneously, going the same direction. Well, we don't want an additional Black QB1 anyway, because damn it, they finna take over. And the fact that they leaked his number and the subplotters used it. It's just all together. So it's not like if they were worried about the majority, they would have never forced Shedeur to the Giants because they already had Russ and Jameis. So that cancels that argument. They was just all working together to destroy so they could justify what they did to him. So they could keep their numbers the way they want to, and the Giants could keep their Ole Miss connection and get who they want to. That's all it was. That's a lot, but it's all it was. Guest character. What does that say? I said that about Edwards. Congratulations. I guess character is not required in NBC. Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. Shedeur just, what does that say? It's so many comments, y'all, if I don't get to all of them. Okay. It says Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. Shedeur just has to play well and prove his haters wrong. No, he don't. What happened to Shedeur was not about his talent and proving anything. When people are against you, they don't want to see you do well. Shedeur was on a waiver wire. His number was on a waiver wire in the Falcons organizations that was never drafted him. I'm sorry, the NFL overall, who the owners colluded against. Let's understand that was banding together. There's the league, then there's the owners, then there's the franchises. 1, 2, 3. The league leaked the information. The owner said pull him off the board. And the team, one team, led the smear campaign. Pittsburgh never said nothing bad about Shedeur. The Titans never said nothing bad about Shedeur. And even though the Giants are treating him like he table scraps, they never said nothing bad about Shedeur either. It was just all lies, and it's now coming out. Right. That's why Prime record everything. Right. And that's why he's around his kids. See, people want to say he's a helicopter parent. He know how they are. He was in the league. He know how they take advantage of people. It's not just because the man did it. He knows that it would hurt his son's career to be in an organization like the Giants or the Browns. They had the top 3 picks. The Titans in there too, but they just quiet with it. They just quiet with it. The most egregious are, to me, the Giants and the Browns. I don't see the Browns being no better than the Giants. Cam Newton is always going to be that dude that throws the rock and hides his hand. Yup. He probably was one of the anonymous sources. He hated on Shedeur so much, it was crazy. We're like, bro, what's wrong with you? I was like, okay, he won his woman. That's the only thing that made sense because of his analogy about the baddie in the black dress and this, that, and the other. I understand you can be a fan of Shedeur, but I mean, you know, Tommy said they would try to set him up with somebody. That's why I said, is something going to happen? And it's probably going to be them throwing stones and they're going to blame Shedeur for it. So he better be careful. But I think, you know, his dad talked about that. Being smart enough to walk away from that type. I'm sure Shedeur is definitely prepared for this moment. But it's crazy how they want to talk about Coach Prime as a helicopter parent, but they don't never talk about Shiloh. That's his son. It's like he wanted to guide his son through this process because he know how treacherous it is. And did he lie? Look at the extremes that they have gone through. To the point where Trump called them stupid and now they being busted a second time for being the opportunity that leaked Shedeur's phone number, that the plot couldn't have been executed without their help. They are the ones that made that possible. And it wasn't an accident. It's not an accident. They had a waiver wire attached to the email, but the body of the email only said Shedeur Sanders' phone number. What was the subject? Because when you try to send an email without a subject, it's like, oh, hello. So you made sure that it got done. I just need to know the date and the time because it's going to tell me how long this plot been hatched because that made absolutely no sense. 15 of Colorado players have an opportunity to play in the NFL. Okay. And you see what I'm saying? So if this was about Shedeur, why you held back the rest of them until Shedeur got drafted? You see what I'm saying? This was not about Shedeur. This was also about the program. And I know, see, you need to be offended that they would do something like that. And now that you have schools like UT saying they ponying up $56 million for their roster because they see that the 20 million, they gonna double it. They done doubled it and add some change to it. Arch Manning not coming out of school next year. A lot of them kids not coming out of school next year. Why would I hurry up to leave a professionally run program where all I got to do to go to class and earn this money to deal with this crap? It's clearly the Mickey Mouse 3-ring circus plantation with Jim Crow as the HR director. Them kids not finna run to that. Only if they didn't get no NIL. But players like Darian Mensah, who got $8 million at Duke, y'all might as well go ahead on and stay at school. Them kids saw what happened to Quinn Ewers, who was offered $8 million to hop in the portal and stay in school one more year. And his contract is only $3 or $4 million. I think 4 is the minimum. $4 million. He lost big. That's why his team is alleging collusion. And I think they're right. They did a lot of people dirty just to get Jackson Dart. They did. Stephen A. called it. So the NFL draft is not about talent. I'm like, and the NFL ain't about winning. So what exactly is it? An opportunity to give some people that they want to protect money? That's it. They have sullied and degraded their own brand. They showed their hand. This ain't about winning. So don't come wanting to win. That's why I say just going up there and play football. Don't even worry about the Super Bowl. That's not even a prize no more. It's not, because they're not trying to build for it. That's why Alvin Kamara was so upset. He's hogtied to them for 2 years, and he got to deal with Tyler Shaw. He like, oh, hell, I know we ain't winning now. They didn't even make a move to win. The cartoon said they ain't trying to win no games or go to the Super Bowl. They trying to build a wall. It's political. They was making political moves. So I don't know how people gonna feel about it next year, because it's not what we thought. We want to see our players, but I'm not expecting. I'm not even thinking about the Super Bowl. And ain't no way in hell I'm giving them $5,000 for that, unless you just want to sit up there and call it a meet and greet, and maybe you hoping you could get you some business connections. But I'm good. I'll take out some ads on YouTube first. Not with those kind of people. People that want to be associated with that, that's not the kind of people you want to be around, because they're going to stab you in the back eventually. So they sullied their own brand. They showed us. Stephen A. said it. So the draft is not about talent, and it's not. And we were already, how many conversations did we have about Dallas not wanting to get to the Super Bowl, not building for that? Did Michael Parsons get his contract yet? Does anybody know? Yes or no if Michael Parsons got his contract? And he was upset at the guy that got out of Dallas. He escaped to Seattle, and DeMarcus Lawrence. He said, I'm glad I left because I was not winning a Super Bowl there. And I was like, Michael, don't be jealous that he got away, because they ain't signed your contract either. So maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. So too much jealousy and hate. Right. I don't want to support that. I'm like, if it wasn't for these guys, bruh. I already don't watch the WNBA. Hell, I probably would go back to it. I don't want to wear, I didn't want to wear no NFL merch. I didn't want to wear, I'm like, it's just going to be Colorado and probably college basketball, because these leagues are something else. The WNBA got their own agenda. And I'm not going back down that road with them at all. I love Angel Reese. I'm gonna just have to watch her podcast and cheer for a distance. I'm not sinking no more money into it. I'm not going to all these games, because y'all clearly have a problem with Black people being the face of y'all's leagues. I'm not supporting that. There's enough basketball in the city of Atlanta that I can find. Or I could just watch college basketball. The women's games seem to be good. Then there's men's basketball. I just know. No, I don't even. And I was at almost every home game they had here in Atlanta. Nice seats. No, because I saw how they move. They like, Well, Trey Young is who we invested in, so if he ain't playing good, we just gonna lose. That's basically how it go. They let good people go. They fired the coach, and it didn't get no better. And then they brought somebody else in, and I think he in New Orleans, number 5, Deontay Murray. They paid him $131 million for a year because it didn't work out with Trey Young. So y'all gonna let him destroy everybody that's good. Just trade him. And it was just losing and losing. And he went to assistant rather than threes. I'm like, your nickname is Ice Trey, not Ice Assist. That's what they do when they don't care. So no, I'm out. Shedeur, the guys from CU, that's it. That's it. The other ones, I don't think they're coming out right away. Caden has a mentor named Malik Willis. We talked about him when we did the whole outfit, you know, the draft fits and stuff. He had on the black velvet, I guess, tuxedo. And I think he's a QB2 somewhere. I feel like it's Indianapolis, but I could be wrong. Which means they never let him start. When they did not realize is Trump and Deion know each other. Clearly, I was thinking that, okay, they know each other. I was thinking that. I was like, because, you know, close prime is, I don't think people understand. This man know people in high places. Like really, really, really high. So that's why I said Trump speaking up could have been also, oh, wait a minute. Let me speak up on this. But hold up. My friend who's a billionaire wanted to buy the Saints, and y'all said it wasn't for sale, but see, y'all incompetent. And y'all gonna need me. And they do. They do. They need to make sure that they don't get investigated. That's why they paid the fine. But now that you know they were the culprits, that's why they hurry up and did it. People were like, what about all the people saying that it wasn't just Shedeur? That went away like that. When Shedeur was the only name, and then it came out he was the only name in the email with the waiver wire report attached, which I still don't know the subject, with 2,000 people. If you had somebody who was new to the company on the first day, he or she wouldn't have messed up like that. Because when you go to select a distribution list, it's a lot of people's names attached to it, and they have like labels. So if I'm new and I'm sending somebody's phone number, why would I send it to 2,000 people? A new person wouldn't have done that. This was intentional. They try to sabotage him, all because of race. They know Shedeur is elite. That's why that's why they hate. They know one thing. What do we know about Shedeur? He could get sacked 8 times in one game like he did for Baylor, and he's still going to win. They know. They saw him run his life. They could send a week, because people talking about Cleveland don't have an O-line, and he's still going to win. And now that the locker room likes him, they said there was one player that posted about Shedeur, and he deleted it. So I felt like maybe the organization was trying to clamp down on them. I think the NFL going to learn something. These guys were not quiet because they scared of y'all. They going to speak up, and you see, they starting to speak up. They starting to speak up. Travis Kelce, what they going to do to him? Nothing. Alvin Kamara, what they going to do? He got a 2-year contract. He ready to go. So you can't, he has nothing to lose. If I have to stay here for 2 years, I might as well speak out because I'm going to get dealt one way or the other. And if I get dealt out of here now, if they're like, we sending you to Atlanta, threaten me with a good time. In terms of the city, because his brother lives here. His brother's a realtor. I read about it. Imagine if they're like, we sending you to Las Vegas. Well, threaten me with a good time. He already lived almost an hour out the city in Belle Chase. I'm like, his house is gorgeous, but it was his house. I was like, y'all live in Belle Chase? I was wondering where they live at. I was like, where do they live at? I know where they used to live at, but clearly they on the outskirts out there now. So he put that on the marketing. He don't have no ties to the city no more. So now he got to hang in there for 2 years. I don't know if he having dreams about the Super Bowl no more. He might be like, look, I'm just ready to be done with this. The one kid from Florida State retired, and I was shocked. He was a quarterback. It was the one that hurt his leg when they were supposed to go to the 4-game playoff. and they chose who was it they chose? Alabama over him, over their school, Florida State, and people joked back then. This is how you know Prime is huge. They said, I bet had Florida State hired Prime, they would have went to the playoffs. See, people know what Coach Prime is capable of. Success. Now, why wouldn't the league want success? Jerry Jones was grinning like a Cheshire cat. He just kind of helped out Coach Prime a little bit with that little conversation they was having when people thought Coach Prime was going to the league. So when did it turn? When it went against what they believe. Why wouldn't they want Coach Prime around? Because they think they're going to lose their job. He just signed a contract for 9 years. Why would you feel like that? They're going to get exposed because they sloppy, they incompetent, they unprofessional. It's a joke. Everybody else has to be elite, but it's not run like it's an elite facility. Sound like it's a lot of bullying going on. It's a lot of scapegoat going on. It's extreme cover-ups happening. They got the media in their pocket. So now we know that, so we know who to tune out because I'm not listening to Jamel Hill no more. I already was half listed anyway, but I'm out. I'm out on that. I'm not listening to nobody with the foolishness because these people know firsthand about the racism, the race norming. They know about that. They know what they did to Shedeur. They have common sense. They part of the cover up. It's not even that. See, they used to romanticize the NFL. They made it seem like when it went to New Orleans, like it's this huge, well-run machine that you want to be a part of when it comes to town. Because, you know, you might get some exposure and it's elite and everything is rich. And they brought all these influencers in and they fed them dinner and they did. And I was even like, maybe I get to go next year. Because it was New Orleans, though. I hated, I didn't go to New Orleans. I didn't care about the association with the league, but I did want to see what they had because it looked nice. But the way that they conduct business, it's not even mafia-like in terms of strong-arming people. It's sloppy. And it's continuous cleanup on aisle 3. Oh, I'm sorry, aisle 2. It's lazy. It's not very intellectual at all. They rich, but they not smart. See, it's different when you're rich and you're intelligent. You make good decisions. They're just wealthy and ignorant and arrogant. And they think too highly of themselves. Hey, what she said, chat, do you all think the Cleveland Browns team members will accept Shedeur or reject him? So far, D. Johnson, the locker room likes him, they say. The locker room likes him. That's what they're saying. So that's a plus, right? The locker room likes him. So that's good. I'm looking at this poll I put out today. I don't know if any of you took the poll. I put a poll on YouTube that said, here it is right here. I said, will the Cleveland Browns genuinely allow Shedeur Sanders a fair opportunity to compete for QB1? 52% said no. The rest said yes. So what do y'all think about that? The fact that the majority of the people, when asked, said that, and I have 33 responses, that they do not believe Cleveland will give Shedeur Sanders a fair opportunity. That's exactly how I feel. So y'all got to let me know your thoughts on that one, because that's interesting. I didn't know what people would say, but people see the way he's being treated. I think the phone call, the welcome for Dylan was so different and warm and welcoming and genuine. The call with Dylan Gabriel was genuine. The call with Shedeur, the fact that they would do him like that, there's nothing to make you think. There's nothing to make you think they would give him a fair chance. They haven't done anything. to make you think they would give him a fair chance. You know that they were forced into taking him because they treat him like that. They're very condescending. They're not welcoming. You know that the NFL leaked his number to 2,000 people, including team managers, with the body of the email saying only Shedeur Sanders' new phone number with an attachment of a waiver wire. So he would have been an undrafted free agent. He probably would have went to Cleveland or somewhere else, and they're gonna cut him. So I don't know where the talk is coming from about Jacksonville, or I know where it's coming from, but I don't know where it originated. I don't know if it's genuine. I know I like it. And I don't know if it's because Travis is there and maybe Shedeur will be better off with somebody that he knows that he could trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just kind of seems like Jacksonville would be a fairer opportunity. So I'm not the only person that thinks that. I'm not the only person that thinks that. What y'all say? It's so many comments. They're going so fast, I don't really get a chance to look at them. What did it say? Oh, I'm on game. Thank you so much. Yes. He's polite and talented enough. All this other stuff is bogus. They are lying to themselves. Right. They are lying to themselves. But you know what's crazy? They know who he is. That's why they fighting him. Think about all the mediocrity they had. They know what mediocrity looks like. Believe me, they do. They know what it looks like when they're black. They know what it looks like when they're white. If you notice, all the black players got to be top tier talent. They got to be the best of the best of the best. Isn't that the way it's always been, football or not? 2 times better than. But they snubbing him because they know Shedeur gonna be the face of the league. Gatorade did an ad with him already, and it said that. That's exactly what it said. He's gonna be the face of the league. I said he's gonna be the face of the league, whether they snub him or not. Cleveland is already getting a taste. Another opportunity to benefit, but they don't appreciate him. So I don't know if he's gonna still be there. Somebody finna go. Either he moving on or they moving on. But God not leaving Shedeur there. Just like he kicked that door open, he not leaving Shedeur there. I promise you. Either they gonna be gone and some better people coming in, but he's not gonna be left in that rotting situation that they put him in. That's gonna change. Either he's moving or they are going. And fans think it's the GM and the coach. And to me, I'm cool with that. Because for whatever reason, whether he was forced into it or it was his idea, the owner did take him. He could have said no. Shedeur was like, I'm grateful for an opportunity. I just hate the way they treat him, man. It make me feel like he my nephew or my cousin or something like that. And it just makes you want to box up on him because they grown and they know better. He's young. To be dealing with this kind of racism at the age of 22 or 23 is a lot. It's a lot. But he was built for it. He got the best family. He has supporters everywhere, globally. But he has a vast network of people. And now, for whatever reason, people are starting to speak up. And that's what needs to happen. The tide, again, is turning. The NFL is quiet because they got busted for the second time. And the plot is coming together and people are connecting the dots. And there is a nosy reporter out there, and it might be me, who are connecting the dots, not just me. I hope the team don't give Shedeur a hard time. You know what? They can, but I'm going to be down there. I'm going to be down there with a sign. I don't care. Me and some other people, I have already said, I'm probably going to end up at a stadium, and it's probably going to be whatever the little raggedy stadium is called. Because I'm telling you, this is where we're headed. This is where we're headed because now the players are frustrated with the draft because of the mediocrity that they are stuck with. See, when Alvin Kamara got 2 years left in the Saints. We already had to go through Derek Carr, and now we got this. Well, we could have had Shedeur. And then y'all want to play in the man's face? Yeah, I'm pissed off. I don't want no part of this. Totally agree. Yeah, they tripping, bro. What's he throwing to himself? How the receivers had no problems. No, the receivers had problems in the draft. The receivers had problems in the draft. Jimmy Horn Jr. was supposed to be Jimmy Horn Jr. right before the draft was listed as the top 10 wide receivers. They held down Shedeur. And I don't know, honestly, I really don't know. But I don't think he was getting drafted. I don't. They drafted an HBCU player at 144, at 141, and Shedeur at 144. It was almost like the message is you could have just stayed at Jackson State. Maybe that's what the message was. And once Shedeur got drafted, everybody else came through. That was not a coincidence. It was not. The elite, how you get all your receivers in? And you the QB. I told you, the QB is the most important position in the damn league. They already say no 5th round QB will start. So now he got to fight past stupidity. Because what that got to do with it? When did Tom Brady get to start? I don't even know because I don't know him like that. But I think Shedeur was better than him in college. Shedeur did not deserve to go that late. I don't know. I heard Tom Brady and somebody else had playing time together, and that's why he kind of got overlooked. But Tom Brady also got caught cheating, and they said he did it. Then they reversed the punishment. I don't think they would do that for Shedeur. And I think Shedeur now sees that they don't look at him as Tom Brady's mentee anymore. And neither does Tom Brady. This right here was a message for Coach Prime, Shedeur, and I hope Shiloh paying attention. Supposedly they love him down there. We gonna see who make the roster, because now it's time for that to happen. Was it performative? They held everybody down till Shedeur went. Then they let CU go and said, oh, this wasn't good. The draft wasn't good for the program. Now we have 15 players with opportunities. Let's see how many of them make the roster. That's the next step. They talking about Shedeur ain't gonna make the cut. The waiver wire, we might have to come back to it. Or is that where Jacksonville come and get him from? The waiver wire. Because that story is coming from somewhere. But they didn't say how it was going to happen. But the plot has been exposed that the waiver wire is where they attached it to the email with his name. And he don't even work there. I think that the players at Cleveland who want to win will accept him. I don't know. Some of them are going to be bought and paid for, just like at CU. It's the same thing. That's why I'm telling you. See, everything happened for a reason. There might be a reason he's 5th. Because honestly, people were already asking, how many times is Shedeur going to be sacked? 67? Because Caleb was sacked 66 times. This could be a blessing in disguise. Not that God creates this chaos. That's not what I'm saying at all. But he can bring good from it. And it could be because they was going to harm you. So if you back there behind Flacco or behind Kenny Pickett and you don't complain to start and you're not frustrated, you might see somebody else get sacked 67 times. It could be Cam Ward. I think it's some kind of hedge of protection. I really do. Because they were going to harm him, even as an undrafted free agent. Coach Prime knows what's going on with the owners. I think Coach Prime has a wheelbarrow of dirt on them. I do. We're going to see how it keep moving now. Because every time the truth comes out, they are exposed, like with this whole data that they created the opportunity for Shedeur's number to be out there, not as an accident, because of the Ole Miss, who the hands it fell into, no coincidence. As people start to connect the dots and they get more and more exposed, I told you, how they going to treat Shedeur when they see him? Tom Brady, Jerry Jones. Are they going to duck and dodge him? What about Coach Prime? Maybe they thought he wasn't going to be in the league. Maybe they thought if he went undrafted free agent, he was going to quit, because when Jerry Jones' son got drafted last, I think he was like, I'm not doing this. But I think he ended up somehow on the Chargers. And when I went to look at his stats and stuff, it was just dotted lines, dotted lines, dotted lines. So I don't know. But I saw one highlight. But I know Jerry Rice was very upset because they told him 3rd round and they kind of did him the same way. So, you know, yeah, they can't stop nothing. They can't. They can't. And they getting exposed. See, that's what happened when you start meddling in other people's life. Your shit blow up. You get exposed. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. They are now the ones that are being exposed as liars, as fraud, as deceivers, as racists, as the league, the brand is hurt because people don't believe it's about talent. You don't even want to watch about nobody else because you like, this just some crap. I'm just out here sticking around for Shedeur and the rest of the guys. If they get up and go to another league, I'm going too. And the league itself would implode, but that's what they would deserve for being racist. So we'll see. All right, we over 2 hours per usual. We did manage to see Dillon Gabriel versus Shedeur. I think we all on the same page now that they treating Shedeur like he's table scraps, that they don't want him, that they had to take him, and we don't like it. So, you know, we're going to pretty much have to stay vigilant and just kind of keep up with this young man. The Browns met with him so many times to what I really think happened somewhere around the time they conceived the plot, and that's why it needs to be investigated as to when that email went out. Somewhere around the time that plot was hatched, Cleveland was going to take Shedeur. Then they went public and said, we took a big swing and miss with Shedeur. That was to pull the coattails of the GM. I'm going to fire you if you take Shedeur. So if I took a big swing and missed with Deshaun Watson, I'm not supposed to take a star QB at number 2. I'm supposed to do something else with it. And that's what happened. So that's why he's acting like he don't want him. He's playing the part, but he making himself look stupid because they're going to fire him anyway. It said him and the coach are gone and Shedeur's supposed to start in September. I don't buy it. I see Jacksonville. So y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. I've been responding to everybody that I could get to so far. So give me a minute. I'll be around. Thank you so much for the engaging conversation. Shame on the NFL for sending out Shedeur Sanders information to 2,000 people, including the team managers, with an attachment about the waiver, like he's going to be cut. So we already set up for the next plot to follow. So y'all have a good night. Have a good night. I'll be back tomorrow. Again, the shows are already scheduled. So I'll see y'all. Thank y'all so much. Have a good night. I'm still going to let Alabama State take us out. I hope y'all enjoy the performance. Sade, is it a crime?